court, try to throw the ball inside if we can, and just see what happens, and hopefully we can make some shots in the tournament.
Before we let you go, Kansas is one of the storied programs in the history of basketball. What makes Kansas basketball so special?
Well, it's not anything I've done in the 20 years I've been there. It's all the guys before, the Larry Browns, the Roy Williams, the Ted Owens, all those guys that came before that have been in Final Fours and won national championships, the Danny Mannings, all that tradition. The first coach ever is James Naismith, the inventor of the game. So there's so much history and stuff there. And all we are is gatekeepers to try to keep it going and keep it at a high level. And so I think, that's what's special about it is the names change, but the expectations don't there.
Curtis Townsend from the Kansas Jayhawks. We're back after this from Salt Lake City. This is the NCAA tournament.
Hello, I'm SAMFORD President Beck Taylor. Life-changing scholarships, world-class faculty, career-focused curriculum, the integration of Christian faith and learning. These are just some of the ways we prepare students for lifelong success here at SAMFORD University, and we can't do that without you. Our donors are the reasons we can provide extraordinary support and opportunity for our students. We take the incredible gifts we receive and use them to impact the lives of countless individuals. As you consider making a major gift to SAMFORD, please know your donation will be stewarded faithfully and thoughtfully to foster a SAMFORD experience, one in which students' passions can truly meet their purpose. By investing in SAMFORD University, you invest in the future, not only on this campus, but beyond. Thank you for supporting SAMFORD. Your gift will create a legacy and stand as a testament to the transformative work that takes place each and every day at this university. For God, for learning, forever.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
Welcome back here to Salt Lake City, Utah. Our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament presented by Cook's Pest Control. SAMFORD and Kansas inching closer and closer here in this Utah night. Under a minute to go here in McNeese and Gonzaga as the other red and blue Bulldogs here in this region finish off a sterling win over the McNeese Cowboys. Blake Gardner, Dave Friedman here with you. We'll get a tip time here probably in the next 5-10 minutes or so once this game officially goes final and SAMFORD and Kansas are allowed to take the floor. Dave, Curtis Townsend certainly sounded like he was up on the scout for SAMFORD. He knew the drill. SAMFORD's going to force a lot of turnovers. They're going to throw a lot of bodies at you, and he alluded to the fact that Kansas isn't going to be able to match SAMFORD body for body tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. Curtis Townsend has been at Kansas for 20 years. He's the longest tenured assistant coach in the country. Kansas under Bill Self has never lost a first-round NCAA tournament game. However, they're a 4 seed, and that's the worst seed they've ever been. And I didn't think, but I'll be curious to get your read on this, I didn't feel like Curtis Townsend talked with an enormous amount of confidence. He talked like a guy who has seen his team play well this year, and down the stretch, not so much.
Yeah, it's been a bit tumultuous around the KU program here over the last few days. Of course, Kevin McCullough officially being announced as out a few days ago. Bill Self had to come out and fire up a tweet storm this morning for a coach that hasn't been on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, since before the season started. It's been a little dicey in KU land. They're not accustomed to some turbulence here in the month of March.
Yeah, but Townsend said, hey, we need to throw the ball inside. Any idiot that's watched them play this year knows that. Hunter Dickinson is absolutely enormous and incredibly skilled. 18 points, 11 rebounds a game. He's top 15 in the country in field goal percentage and rebounds. He was a second-team All-American at Michigan. He scored over 2,000 points. He's a dude. And while Achor is a very nice player, he's giving up a lot of size.
As is Jermaine Marshall to KJ Adams, the other Kansas big man. And there is a little bit of a historical tidbit now in play. Kansas has won 2 national championships under Bill Self. The last 2 times they have won the national title, University of Kentucky has gotten upset in the first round like has happened earlier tonight.
Well, I would call that small sample size, right? If this Kansas team cuts down the nets in 3 weeks in Phoenix, I'll be stunned. If they win tonight and they win on Saturday and they go to the Sweet 16, no, that's totally reasonable. I mean, when you talk about resources, they're as well resourced as any team in the country. In terms of players, they're not deep, but the guys they have, they're really good, particularly Dickinson. Without McCullough, he has to be a stud. And in terms of matchups, Samford has maybe the better shooting team. They certainly have the deeper team. But if NBA scouts are at the game today, Hunter Dickinson is number 1, 2, and 3 on that list.
The 7'2", 260-pound center was asked about that shoulder in the press conference a couple days ago. He pretty much said it's not 100%, but it's certainly good enough to go. And for a second-team AP All-American, good enough to go is still one of the best players in the sports. As we have officially a final score, Gonzaga 86, McNeese 65. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are moving on, which means the winner of this Samford-KU battle gets Gonzaga coming up on Saturday night. Well, Samford, as you said, has the depth. They're going to play 10, 11, 12 guys tonight, and more importantly, this is about as healthy as they've been all year. Achor has missed a little bit of time this year. A.J. Staten-McRae has missed time. Jermaine Marshall has missed 13 games. All 3 of them are about as healthy as they have been all season long, which is very good news for Samford. And arguably there's been no bigger breakout across the Southern Conference this year than what Achor has delivered to this Samford program. Dave got a chance to catch up with him yesterday.
A lot has been made of what you have overcome. What have you overcome?
A lot, the doubters, winning the SoCon, 24 years, not with the 24-year drought, March Madness. We overcame a lot as a team.
And how have you done that?
Hard work, a lot of hard work, months.
At the beginning of the year, when you guys knew that you had an opportunity to compete just like every other year, what made this one special?
The bond. It was less locker room. Really good guys, a lot of good characters in the locker room. I think that's what the difference was. No cancer in the locker room. Everybody loves to be with each other.
Your off season, people have talked about it being intense. What was it like? You woke up and what did you do?
Honestly, I used to wake up, I'd run to the gym, I'd come back to go work out with Coach Neb, come back and go to Newt with Jermaine. Jermaine will pick me up and go to the Newt gym, 205 hoops.
What have you learned from Jermaine?
A lot. That man, I learned a lot of him. I don't really tell him this, but his edge to never lose, it drove me a lot. I practice. When I'm on the opposite team of Jermaine, I know I'm usually on my A game, but when I'm on the opposite team, I got to be A+.
What did you think when Jermaine got hurt?
That hurt. I hurt because I knew this is last year. I knew how much he loves to compete and play with us. But, that's my brother. We held it down for him, held it down until he came back and kept the show rolling.
Not every team can do that. One of their best players goes out, and there's not seemingly a blip on the radar. How did you do that?
Deep team. We played 10, 11 people. 10, 11 people played 10 minutes a game plus. I think that's what it was. People like Garrett, Lucas, Lil Josh, Nate come off the bench. They do a lot for us,
I talked to Bucky several months ago and asked him how you made the leap. And he goes, well, he learned to shoot. It's not that simple, but how did you improve from point A to point B?
Reps. A lot, like I said, it's a lot of reps with Coach Neb in the gym day in, day out. One thing I learned, Jackson McCoy, my close friend from me back home, when he said, what you put in this is what you're going to get out of it. If you put in little, you only get a little out of it. I put in a lot, and I feel like I'm getting a lot of it right now.
What do you make of Kansas?
Good team, really good team. Unfortunately, they're suffering with some injuries, but I think tomorrow's going to be a good game,
When you look at them, what are the 2 or 3 things that you got to stop to win?
Buckets in the paint. They're not really a good shooting team with I don't know his name. The one dude not out for the tournament. Yeah, down him, they're down another shooter, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like if we stop them, limit the points in the paint, we have a very good chance.
Hunter Dickinson left one of the most resource schools in the country to go to Kansas, and it wasn't by accident, right? That happened for a good reason. What makes him tough?
7'2". 7'2", got a good touch around the rim, you know, and it seems like he got an edge to him.
How do you guard him?
Physical. I know big guys don't like people being physical with them, so I'm gonna be very physical with him.
What's your confidence like?
Confidence, it's all in the work. You can't be confident if you don't put in the work, you know what I'm saying? The type of person I am, with the work I put in is like, I'm the type of player, the work I put in is what I get out. So like, if I don't work out a lot, my confidence not gonna be that high. So I'm always in the gym to keep my confidence up. 'Cause I know what I put in, I'm gonna get out.
Like playing in an arena like this?
Love it. Purdue. One time Purdue, I love Purdue. Even though, you know, our team wasn't as tight, you know, in terms of playing, you know, but now I love it. I love playing in big arenas, you know. Get to show people what you're made of.
Achor and Jermaine Marshall, both those guys thick as thieves and not lacking for confidence. And all the work that Achor has put in has turned him into a Southern Conference superstar. Hard to believe this guy averaged 6 points, 3 rebounds a game last year to turn into the two-way force that he has been this year. Has been one of the reasons Samford has made another leap in this 4th year under Samford head coach Bunky McMillan. The Samford Bulldogs have taken the floor, as have the Kansas Jayhawks, and we've got more coming your way here on our pregame coverage. Live here at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. Coming up after this, Dave sat down with Samford head coach Bunky McMillan to get his thoughts on this first-round matchup and taking Samford to the NCAA tournament for the first time in more than 2 decades. That's coming up after the break as you listen to our NCAA tournament coverage here on the Samford Sports Network.
Where you get your PharmD matters. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy is mission-driven. Supportive faculty and staff commit themselves to students' success. McWhorter School of Pharmacy is interprofessional, an environment that fosters collaboration with nursing, health professions, and public health students. Students can personalize their degrees with numerous study abroad opportunities, didactic and experiential electives, and joint degree options. Customize your studies in our state-of-the-art facilities to achieve specific career goals such as missions, research, community pharmacy, hospital and residency, and more. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy, preparing pharmacists who transform lives for more than 100 years.
At Samford, strength and purpose come together. They push your gifts to their fullest potential, turning your passions into powerful skills for shaping our world. Samford's dedicated professors build your skills so you thrive in complex environments. Visit campus in Birmingham to see firsthand how Samford supports your growth toward everything you seek to achieve.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cooks Pest Control.
Day 1 of the NCAA tournament, and for the first time in 2 decades, the Samford Bulldogs are a part of it. Samford and Kansas today in Salt Lake City. Welcome back to Delta Arena. We're joined by Bulldog head coach Bunky McMillan. You obviously have watched and followed the NCAA tournament for a long time. What is it like to be a part of it?
It's great. Obviously, every player's dream is to play in it, and the coach's dream is to coach in it. And we're glad we're here. We just hope we get to play several games in this tournament.
How many times have you imagined what this day would be like?
I don't know if you even imagine it, honestly. You don't even really think about it because sometimes you watch something for so long, you don't actually put yourself in it. And all of a sudden we're here, and it's a surreal feeling being here.
You told the media yesterday that we're here to win, whether it be this year or down the line. Like, this isn't a one-time deal, and we're going to advance. Where does that confidence come from?
Well, I mean, you've seen mid-major teams make runs, and there's mid-major teams I've seen that have made runs that our team is better than right now. And so it's not going to be a surprise when we make it happen. We got the right people, right leadership here. And we got the formula for success. You know, get good players with good talent that work their butts off, play unselfish, and play with a lot of confidence.
Billy Donovan used to say that the mythology for an upset in the NCAA tournament revolves around the three-point line. Fair to say you're going to try to follow that?
Well, we played that way all season long. We take a lot of threes. We're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country, and we're going to try to get some off tonight, that's for sure.
What does the matchup with Kansas look like?
Great team, great program. We shoot a lot of threes. One of the top in the country at scoring from the perimeter. They're one of the top in the country from scoring on the inside. So it's a battle of who can impose their will on the other team.
Bill Self is the only active coach who the NCAA recognizes with 2 national championships. He hasn't done that by mistake. That happens for a reason. What are they really good at? What do you have to limit?
Well, this year they're huge, and they have complete clarity of where they want to get the ball, and we just can't let them score. The shot chart cannot be right around the charge arc, or we're in trouble. And I'm not saying they won't get some. I'm not saying they may not get 20 points there. But it just can't be we look up and the shot chart looks like a bunch of dots right there, right at the basket. And so they're very good at getting the ball inside, and they have clarity on what they're trying to do.
It's one thing to say, don't let Hunter Dickinson get the ball. He's 7'2" and 260 pounds. How do you actually do it?
Well, that's a challenge, because if you play too hard on one side and not let him get it, they're very good at going high-low on the other side. And what we have to do is use our total team and constantly and keep leverage on him. We cannot lose contact with him, because if we lose contact with him, it's going to be a problem.
Kevin McCullough is out. How does that change them?
You know, they got All-Americans everywhere. I think the biggest thing I would say is that it takes one less player out for their depth. And we have a deep team. Now, I know tonight it's going to be, 2.5-minute medias or 2-minute medias, whatever it is, and 20-minute halftime. So, you may not even have to sub. But I will say this, that one player down playing against all 10 to 12 of our guys is an advantage for us.
Pressure at times has bothered them this year. Is there one specific look as you press in a variety of ways that you think might be effective?
Well, sometimes people can confuse pressure with trapping, and I'm sure there'll be a depth to handle traps. So I think it's just going to be up on the balance between pressure on the basketball without trapping, and sometimes we will trap. But it's going to be finding that balance. Sometimes you can actually let teams off the hook by trapping them, and there's not as much pressure because they can see right over it. And it's going to be kind of seeing how they handle it today, because one thing with pressure, a team can handle pressure all year long, but it's really going to be on that day, how do they handle it, and we're going to find out.
If they are able at times to dictate tempo, what does your half-court offense need to look like?
Guys got to be ready to shoot the basketball, and that's what we've told them. We got to be ready to shoot the basketball. We got to be willing to, make 23s if that's what the game calls for. But we just got to make quick decisions with it. We can't have the ball stick. They're too big. They're too solid. It can't look like a walking shell drill out there. The ball has to move, and we have to keep them on the run, and even in the half court.
When we talk after the game, if you guys have pulled off a victory, who are the guys that maybe have gone, oh, wow, he had a big game?
Well, they have size. We know that. But we have to take advantage of our shooting ability in our forward spots, and it's Jermaine Marshall. And I think what we'll say is that they made a high number of threes. And, you can't play against someone that's 7'2" when he's dunking at the rim. You're probably not going to get as many dunks on him. But what we have is we're a better shooting team than their bigs. And so I think you're going to find out that our forwards, Jermaine Marshall, Riley Allenspike, Nate Johnson, you're going to see that between those guys, they made a lot of threes.
What does this mean for the program?
It means a great deal for the program, because the next time we're back, it won't be new. That's the key. I hate to compare this to high school, but it took us 5 years in high school to win a playoff game. We do it at a regional site. We won the playoff game that year, and we won the state championship. Then we played in 8 of the next 9 state championships. Before that, we hadn't got to one. So it will pave the way for the next group that comes after this group.
Samford coach Bucky McMillan. We're back at the NCAA tournament after this. This is Bulldog Basketball.
Here at Cumberland, we're not just providing a law degree or a means to a professional career. We believe fundamentally that if you find something that you're passionate about that gives you purpose, you're going to do a better job, And so here we're really working on building out all of our programming with an eye toward helping students come in, find their purpose, and pursue that purpose throughout their professional lives.
Hey Samford, President Beck Taylor here. I wanted to remind you that Samford Giving Day is back. It's April 9th, and what's exciting about this day is that it rallies the entire Samford family, from students to worldwide friends of the university. It's your chance to support some of your favorite areas of campus. And remember, your gift, big or small, impacts this place greatly. Again, Samford Giving Day, April 9th, a 24-hour window for you to show your Samford support. Go Bulldogs.
Advance your career with an MBA from Samford University's Brock School of Business. Nationally ranked by Fortune, our Master of Business Administration program develops ethical business leaders for a modern and competitive workforce. It's flexible for the working professional and customizable. Choose from concentrations in data analytics, finance, and sports business. Learn more or apply at samford.edu/go/MBA.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
Welcome back courtside here, Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, as we wind down closer and closer to an 8:20 local time tip. That's 9:20 Central Time between the number 4 seed Kansas Jayhawks and the number 13 seed Samford University Bulldogs. Blake Gardner, Dave Friedman here with you. Our coverage of this NCAA tournament presented by Cook's Pest Control. And Dave, you talked to Curtis Townsend on the Kansas bench. Talked to Samford head coach Bucky McMillan on the other side of things. Let's talk about some keys to the game. First things first, what does Samford have to do well tonight to spring the upset as 7.5-point underdogs?
Well, I think they have to do several things. Kansas does this every year, and often does it several times every year, and frequently is in the Final Four, and sometimes cuts down the nets. They know they belong here. Samford hasn't done this in a long time. So the first 4 minutes of the game, you have to gather yourself. You have to be ready for the moment. You have to get through the fact that, oh my God, this is the coolest thing we've ever done, and go out and just play ball the way you have 34 times already. Samford's going to have to hit three-pointers. Yep. They're not going to win this game in the paint. They're going to win this game flying around and, again, doing what they've done throughout the year. And defensively, and this could be a key for either team, you want to talk about the Kansas offense or the Samford defense. What does Hunter Dickinson get? Is he scoring plus the foul? Is he getting guys in foul trouble? Is the game trudging and slow, backing guys down, and Dickinson going to work? And at the end of the day, do we look at the box score and he's 11 of 15 shooting, and he's got a dozen rebounds, and you're like, we just didn't have an answer. That's what a Power 5 guy looks like. Or is Samford able to move him? Is Samford able to double him, frustrate him, force passes to the wing, force Kansas to shoot threes or to penetrate, and kind of limit Hunter Dickinson? I think that one can go either way. And then the big overarching point is the pace of the game.
Yeah.
Samford's going to press. They want to play up-tempo. They want to fly up and down. Kansas wants to slow it down and throw it inside. The first game of the day today here in Salt Lake City, Long Beach State and Arizona, it was like the referees did not have whistles. That's the game that Samford's looking for.
No doubt about it. They're hoping they can knock down some shots, too. On the TBS call tonight, Brendan Haywood is the analyst, Dana Jacobson is the sideline reporter, and the legendary Brad Nessler is the play-by-play announcer on TBS tonight. Dave got a chance to sit down with him and get Ness's thoughts on what game number 4 of the day here in Salt Lake City might look like.
We're back with CBS Sports' Brad Nessler. The NCAA tournament, you do a lot of big-time events. What makes this one special?
The fact that we have to do 4 games in one day and try to stay awake and keep your voice going. No, it's just, it's like, you know, it's the big guys against the little guys, a chance for the smaller schools to pull the upset. I think that's what everybody looks at, and I don't know if we're going to have any of that this weekend or not, but certainly that's one of the things that I think people look at when they fill out their brackets and they go, I wonder if that team can beat a number 2 seed or that one a number 1, and it just makes it a lot of fun.
How do you prepare for 4 days, 4 games?
We have a great research department that helps us a lot, but I obviously don't get to see a lot of these teams. I was elated to find out I was coming here because I did Gonzaga against Kentucky and I did Kansas earlier this year. So to have 2 teams in this bracket that I've seen already is tremendous. Normally that doesn't happen. It's like cramming for a final, but you're cramming for 4 finals. And then you turn around and, do 2 games the next day. When you do the doubleheader on Saturday, it seems like a breeze. And a lot of people go, oh, you mean 2 games in one day? I said, no, 4 games in one day is a little bit harder. So you do it. I did it back when I was in my 30s, and I'm not in my 30s anymore. It's not getting any easier, I'll tell you that.
So Samford plays Kansas. You made mention that you've seen Kansas, but they're a different team now than they were earlier. How do you look at them?
With McCullough out, and Dickinson, didn't play in the Big 12 tournament. And obviously when they don't have those guys, they're a way different team and not nearly as good. Having one of your main players and your top scorer out isn't going to help. And this is not a deep Bill Self team to start with. He didn't have a very long bench, even when I had him earlier this year when they were healthy. So KJ Adams is going to have to pick up some of the slack. Dickinson's shoulder, I guess, is good enough. It's heavily taped, as you saw at the shoot-arounds today. But it changes the dynamic of what they do. They like to score at the rim, and Samford knows that. Bucky knows that. And he knows that he's got 10 or 11 guys that he can run out there and try to run them ragged. And that's what I think we're going to see, a team that's going to play 10 or 11 guys and shoot threes and try to keep a bigger Kansas team from scoring at the rim.
And Kansas has been a little bit turnover prone, and they're going to see full court the whole game. Do they have the guys to deal with that?
That's a really good question. If I had the answer to that, I could win the lottery. I'm not sure, but this will be something that they haven't seen in a long time, and it's going to be for them like, when you go out and you go fishing and you all of a sudden hit a swarm of mosquitoes around you, and it takes away the fun of the fishing trip. So they're not going to have any fun with the press, I know that, but we'll see how it works out tomorrow.
In a couple days of prep, what have you learned about Samford? What makes them interesting?
I just think the fact that, it's been a long time since they've been in a situation like this. They got a young coach who's so familiar with the area, has never even been out of Birmingham, I don't think, and has pulled a group of guys together that he just loves, and they're a fun team to watch. I mean, I've got some friends that are Samford fans, and they've been looking forward to this game for a long, long time, and I think it's one of those teams that's kind of grabbed people's hearts, and probably because they're playing a blue blood, there's going to be some teams out there that are going to have the Bulldogs on their bracket, I think, for an upset.
You've been doing this a long time, not just the NCAA tournament. Memories that when you lay down at night, you go, man, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, sometimes I do. I look back and think that was pretty good. I had one this year on the Michigan game I did when J.J. McCarthy had number 47 written on his hand for a teammate that had passed away from the UNLV team on the other side. And I talked to his dad the night before the game. He says, JJ's going to have 47 on his wrist. And so we showed it, and I told the story, and he threw a 47-yard touchdown pass. And I was like, okay, now that was cool.
Nice when it works out like that.
Nice when it works out like that, yep.
Appreciate your time.
Okay, have a good game.
Brad Nessler from CBS.
Historic renovation is underway on Samford's state-of-the-art campus recreation, wellness, and athletic complex, and we can't wait till you see the finished product. Cybert Hall is being transformed into a world impacting the health and mental well-being of Samford students. The new complex will also provide new practice and training facilities for our Bulldog student athletes. And
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cooks Pest Control.
Back here courtside in Salt Lake City, Utah, the Delta Center, home to this Midwest regional matchup between the number 4 seed Kansas Jayhawks and the number 13 seed Samford Bulldogs. We are less than 7 minutes away from tipping off game number 4, the final game of the day. here in Utah between the Jayhawks and the Bulldogs. Before we do that, let's meet the starting lineups for both of these teams. And let's start with the reigning Southern Conference champions 2 times over, the 29-5 SAMFORD Bulldogs, who shared the regular season crown in the SoCon a year ago. They won it outright this season and backed it up with a Southern Conference tournament title about 10 days ago. The starting 5 for SAMFORD, a familiar one. It starts with the point guard, number 12, Dallas Graziani, the 5'8 sophomore from Pembroke Pines, Florida, transferred into this SAMFORD program from Nova Southeastern. Averaging over 4 points a game. He's got at least 1 steal now in 8 straight games. He is a defensive pest in this SAMFORD press. The other lead guard is number 21, Rylan Jones. He has been the celebrity of the week here in Utah. Over 50 tickets he requested for this game. The native of Utah started his college career at the University of Utah, then transferred to Utah State. Finally made his way down to the Deep South in SAMFORD, where he has been one of the best mid-major point guards in college basketball this season. Jones, the grad transfer, listed at 6 foot, 175 pounds. The third guard is number 2, Jaden Campbell, the 6'5 senior from Ontario. Now in his 3rd season with this SAMFORD program after transferring in from Florida Southwestern, one of the most efficient three-point shooters in the Southern Conference this year, 47% from downtown, absolutely scorching from Jaden Campbell. The power forward is number 4, Jermaine Marshall, the senior from Brighton, Alabama. Transferred back home from Akron when Bucky McMillan took the SAMFORD job. A Southern Conference All-Tournament team selection. Marshall missed 13 games earlier this year, but he is healthy and ready to go once again here tonight. And his running mate in the front court, of course, is number 14, Achor, the 6'9 junior from Melbourne, Australia, transferred to SAMFORD from Chipola College. Now in his 2nd season as a SAMFORD Bulldog, and what a leap he has made, averaging almost 16 points a game. One of the best, if not the best, big man in the Southern Conference this year. So once again, the starting 5 for SAMFORD. Number 12, Graziani. Number 21, Jones. Number 2, Campbell. Number 4, Marshall. And number 14, Achor, for the boys in navy blue and white here in Utah. And now we meet the other side starters, the number 4 seed Kansas Jayhawks at 22-10 under 21st year head coach Bill Self. The Jayhawks back in this tournament for the 34th consecutive season, but working a little bit shorthanded. Already talked about the absence of Kevin McCullard tonight. The first team all Big 12 selection is done for the year. His 18 points per contest are not available for KU tonight. Who is available for KU? Well, let's start with their point guard. The redshirt senior, number 3, DeJuan Harris Jr. The 6'2 lead guard from Columbia, Missouri, is the best defensive guard in the Big 12. An all-defense selection again, and last year's Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Averages over 6 assists per game on the other end of the floor. The other guard is number 25, Nicholas Timberlake, the 6'4 grad transfer from Townsend, was the all-time leader in three-point makes when he left Townsend, playing his final season of college basketball at KU. He hasn't shot it as well at Kansas, just 28% from downtown, but a microwave man who can certainly get hot. The third quote-unquote guard is the 6'9 freshman from Melbourne, Australia. That's Johnny Furphy. He wears number 10. The all-freshman selection in the Big 12 has started 17 of the last 18 games and has really come into his own as of late, averaging over 8 points and 4 rebounds a game this year for KU. The 4-man is number 24, KJ Adams Jr., the 6'7 junior from Austin, Texas. Westlake High School was the most improved player in the Big 12 a year ago and is coming off his career-high best performance scoring the basketball, 22 points in Kansas's opening round Big 12 tournament loss against the Cincinnati Bearcats. The 5-man getting booed right now in the arena is number 1, Hunter Dickinson, the 7'2", 260-pound senior from Alexandria, Virginia, made his mark at Michigan, transferred to Kansas before this season, and has been one of the best forwards in all of college basketball, averaging a double-double, 18 points and almost 11 rebounds a game. Earlier this week was named an AP second-team All-American on the heels of being named the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. So once again, the starting five for Kansas. Number 3, DeJuan Harris. Number 25, Nicholas Timberlake. Number 10, Johnny Furphy. Number 24, KJ Adams. And number 1, Hunter Dickinson. That's the 5 for Kansas. Almost time for tip-off. Less than 90 seconds away. Dave, final thoughts.
I found it really interesting. After Dallas Graziani was introduced to the crowd here, Bucky McMillan took him aside and they talked for maybe 20 seconds, and you just killed to be in that huddle to know what they're saying to each other, because it's actually Graziani that's been in more of these sort of games than Coach McMillan.
Dallas Graziani, the transfer from Nova Southeastern, ran all the way through the Division II bracket a year ago en route to a D2 national title. Nova Southeastern went unbeaten last year. Dallas Graziani was one of the best point guards in Division II a year ago. He's right back in the postseason a year later, but the biggest of postseason stages, the Division I men's NCAA tournament. He gets the start once again tonight for Samford as he and his Samford Bulldogs take the floor in their navy jerseys outlined in white and gray. Kansas, meanwhile, joining them here shortly. The iconic white strips for KU with the Jayhawk on the side of the shorts. The numbers and names in that KU blue outlined in red. And a packed out, sold out Delta Center crowd here tonight. Plenty of Gonzaga fans who saw their team win earlier have stayed in the building, and they're thirsty to watch an upset tonight. The Samford Bulldogs, for just the 3rd time ever on the biggest of stages, the NCAA tournament. And here we go. Dickinson wins the opening tap against Achor. It's KU basketball. And the final game of this Midwest Regional on this Thursday is underway here in Salt Lake City. Kansas with the basketball first. Ryland Jones knocked a pass of DeJuan Harris into the scorer's table. And Samford hoping that's the first of many deflections here tonight.
You hear 7'2" and 260, and then you see it. Dickinson is an absolute monster. I mean, Achor barely reaches his head.
Dickinson at the high post as Harris gets it in, hounded by Graziani. Kansas working left to right on your TV screens in white. KJ Adams, a high post catch, kicks. Furphy, right wing three, in and out and back in. It's good. Kansas on the board first. Furphy, a 35% three-point shooter. It's going to be a big night for him. One of the key guys to replace that KU scoring. As on the other end, Ryland Jones trying to dump it inside to Jermaine Marshall. That ball was kicked.
Yeah, Marshall with a little 7 cut to the rim. I'm not sure Ryland Jones wanted to throw that pass. There was a lot of traffic.
So we'll stay down here with Samford, though, inbound from the baseline. No shot clock reset as the clock had only gotten to 22 on the timer. Just 35 seconds in, KU3, Samford working on their first offensive possession. Achor, a catch, post to post. Marshall lays it in. Jermaine Marshall, the first Samford bucket of this NCAA tournament.
Tremendous post-to-post pass, and now you set up the pressure.
Campbell hounding Furphy in that deep corner, and we'll see how this Samford pressure evolves as the night rolls on. Marshall right now out front guarding the point guard, DeJuan Harris Jr. Samford switching everything out front for the moment. Dickinson trying to lob it inside. Adams, a contested catch and finish.
Too easy.
KJ Adams, one of the best power forwards in the Big 12 this year. He and Dickinson are a fearsome duo inside. That's some big-time size Samford is going to have to deal with tonight. Achor, a three on the way. A little bit strong, but Graziani has the long rebound, shovels it out. Campbell on the reload, a little strong as well. Achor an offensive board, and he flips it in. Offensive rebounds aplenty for Samford on that trip.
Against a much bigger team, a really good sign to get 3 looks at it.
KU 5, Samford 4, and a whistle and a foul before the ball gets inbounded.
Jaden Campbell checking Nicholas Timberlake on that full court pressure.
Foul on Campbell, of course, his first. The first whistle on either side here, a minute and 39 seconds in. KU does get it in now, this time to DeJuan Harris. Working against Dallas Graziani. Shoves him off and now creates a little bit of space as he works it across. 1 point game early on. Productive trips for both sides to start the night. Harris along the baseline, kicks. Furphy a three, good again. Back-to-back threes for Johnny Furphy, and that's a good sign for KU. Furphy just 1 for 8 last time out against Cincinnati. Marshall in the post on the other end kicks. At Shore, thought about the three, instead drives. A lot of contact, no whistle. Instead, Campbell caught the ricochet, and he was fouled on his way up.
I'm surprised that Shore passed up that open three to drive. When we've been watching practice, they don't really want to get funneled to the shot blocker, and open three's a good shot.
So Campbell earns the first trip to the line tonight for Samford. The foul goes against Nicholas Timberlake. Campbell, one of the best free throw shooters Samford's got. His first is off the back iron, no good. Jaden Campbell holds a unique distinction tonight. He is the only member of this Samford team who was alive the last time Samford played in the NCAA tournament. He was 2 months old.
I'm sure he remembers it well.
Absolutely. His second free throw is good. KU 8, Samford 5. As Kansas quickly beats the pressure, Harris almost traveled, flips it up short, got his own miss on this end, and was fouled trying to kick it back out. The foul is going to go against Ryland Jones.
Ryland Jones told me before the game he got 55 seats in the Samford party. That doesn't count all of his friends and family that bought additional seats. His sister drove in from Portland, Oregon, 11 hours to get here.
Jones has been a popular man all week long, and he's going to steal off the baseline out of bounds. Jones pulls up for three. In and out. The crowd was ready to explode, and Adams had the rebound knocked out of his hands. Last touch by Jermaine Marshall. So it'll stay KU basketball inbounding from underneath the Samford buckets. Jayhawks 8, Bulldogs 5. 17:32 to go in the first half. KJ Adams works against Dallas Graziani. Adams better be careful. Graziani almost picked his pocket. KU's got to hurry, and they did not beat the 10-second clock. 10-second violation, and the crowd appreciating the defense one-on-one by Dallas Graziani.
Adams didn't recognize the clock. Anyone that was kind of looking could see it going 22, 21, 20. And while he kind of knew in the back of his head that he had to move, he didn't realize it was that urgent.
So Samford's press forces a turnover. They've got the basketball back, trailing by 3. Bulldogs working in the half court. Ryland Jones left side of the floor. Achor against Dickinson. A deep 2 on the way is good. Second bucket of the night already for Achor. 1-point game, 3 minutes in. Furphy tried to beat the pressure, almost had it knocked away. Fortunate to recover, and now KU can catch their breath here on the half court. 3 minutes gone. KU 8, Samford 7. Jayhawks swinging across the floor. Furphy in the deep corner. Nowhere to go against Graziani. Adams kicks to Harris on the drive. Adams, a two-handed flush. KJ Adams, a smart cut to the bucket and was rewarded for it. Kansas back in front by 3. Achor, another 2 on the way. This one way strong over the top of Dickinson. And KU wants to push. Harris kicks to the corner. Timberlake spotted up, hits the 3. 13-7 KU, 16:20 to go in the first half. Jayhawks shooting it well early. Jones trying to answer. In and out his 3 ball. And a foul on the rebound as Jermaine Marshall got caught reaching in.
Samford is 0 for 4 from 3, while Kansas, not really known as sharp shooters, 3 for 3 from outside the arc.
Jayhawks coming into this tournament 210th in the country in 3-point shooting, but Furphy's already knocked down a couple. And Nicholas Timberlake has hit one as well. As Samford has gone to the bench. Riley Allen's back into the game for the first time. Nathan Johnson, Garrett Hicks, and A.J. Staten McCray all check in. The only starter remaining on the floor for Samford is Dallas Graziani. Meanwhile, KU has yet to go to their bench. Adams able to break the pressure with Timberlake. Timberlake up top. Dickinson hammers home the alley-oop.
Allenspach didn't know whether he should stop the ball or back up and guard Dickinson.
Hicks, a floater on the other end, too strong, and a fight for the rebound is won by Kansas. Jayhawks have scored 7 in a row and are looking to add on this trip. 15:50 to go in the first half. Dickinson gets a post touch against Allenspach. Drives baseline and got it on the rim, but was fouled on his way up. So Hunter Dickinson will be at the free throw line when we come back. 15:45 to go in this first half. The Jayhawks have scored 7 in a row and have opened up an 8-point lead. It's Kansas 15, Samford 7. This is our coverage of the NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Samford President Beck Taylor. Life-changing scholarships, world-class faculty, career-focused curriculum, the integration of Christian faith and learning. These are just some of the ways we prepare students for lifelong success here at Samford University, and we can't do that without you. Our donors are the reasons we can provide extraordinary support and opportunity for our students. We take the incredible gifts we receive and use them to impact the lives of countless individuals. As you consider making a major gift to Samford, please know your donation will be stewarded faithfully and thoughtfully to foster a Samford experience, one in which students' passions can truly meet their purpose. By investing in Samford University, you invest in the future, not only on this campus, but beyond. Thank you for supporting Samford. Your gift will create a legacy and stand as a testament to the transformative work that takes place each and every day at this university. For God, for learning, forever.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cooks Pest Control.
Welcome back here to the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament presented by Cooks Pest Control. Fans, you don't have to live with pests. Get proven protection from Cooks Pest Control. Call or go online for a free quote. cookspest.com. That's COOKSPEST.com. Or call the number 205-942-7775 for a free quote today. Here at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, a good start for the Kansas Jayhawks. They have knocked down 6 of their first 7 shots. They've gotten some easy ones, a couple of two-handed jams, but they've also knocked down their first 3 three-point looks of this contest. And Dave, if KU's going to shoot it like that in Samford, just 3 for their first 9 for the floor, it could be a tough night.
Yeah, I mean, you don't expect them to be 3 for 3 from outside the arc, and if you're going to be honest, you're going to have to live with that. It's inside that's the problem. You mentioned the 2 dunks. They are just so much bigger. There's no way of compensating for that pure size and muscle inside. The way Samford has to do it is they have to force turnovers and they have to hit more shots. So you're down early, no big deal. Next 4 minutes, go get them.
15-7, Kansas in front. The big man Hunter Dickinson at the free throw line. 4 fouls have been committed by Samford already. The latest one was committed by Riley Allensbach. And as everyone takes their places here around the paint, Dickinson ready to go. A 64% free throw shooter this year. And his first is too strong. Hunter Dickinson playing tonight after dislocating his shoulder. That right shoulder is heavily taped up tonight. Certainly something to watch as the game progresses, as his second free throw is good. 16-7, Kansas in front. The Jayhawks have scored 8 straight. Samford has started just 3 of their first 9 shooting the basketball. We'll see if they can change that here coming out of the timeout. Rylan Jones back into the game, working with Hicks, A.J. Staten-McCray, Nathan Johnson, and Riley Allensbach. It's Rylan Jones with the basketball now, off Allensbach's screen. He steps into a 3 and hits! What a shot from the true freshman.
Rylan Jones started that set really high out, maybe 40 feet out, and they kind of tried to double and just slipped the pass to an open man for a wide open shot.
Just the 7th three-point make all year for Riley Allensbach. It's the first tonight for Samford, and a much-needed one at that. 16-10, Kansas in front. Dickinson from 16 feet fires and knocks it down. 5 points early for Hunter Dickinson. Samford pushing right back at it. Staten-McCray hits a right wing 3. And after a tough shooting start for the Bulldogs, back-to-back threes have gone down. KU breaks the pressure. Furphy driving baseline, lays it in.
Yeah, those are the ones you can't give up. The points in the paint, the points at the rim, the transition points.
KU 20, Samford 13. Bulldogs with the basketball. Allensbach again in the high post. digging down low this time. Finds a cutting A.J. Staten McCray, who thought he got fouled. Didn't get the whistle. Allensbach tied up. And the possession arrow is going to keep it down here with Samford. And both sides will make some changes here. Achor returns for Samford. Meanwhile, KU goes to the bench for the first time and brings on true freshman Elmarco Jackson. Good minutes from Riley Allensbach. Achor back in the game. Bulldogs trying to get it to him and do. Achor going at Dickinson in the post. A tough fall away, partially blocked, and Dickinson recovers the loose ball. Dickinson hounded by Achor through a huge pass across the floor that Furphy threw back into the backcourt for some reason. That is an obvious backcourt violation.
And that's the pressure. You force a mistake when they're sped up.
That is obvious a backcourt violation, as you'll see. Kansas turns it over for the third time already. Samford has yet to give it away, but find themselves trailing by 7. 6 minutes into this first half. A.J. Staten McCray out front, working with Achor. Shot clock at 7 for Samford. Achor for 3. Off the back iron, no good. Fight for the rebound, and 3 KU bodies to the floor, and Furphy is down. There was no Samford Bulldog in the area code of that rebound. It was 3 white jerseys who all collided with each other, and the Australian freshman Johnny Furphy is still down on the floor.
Kansas, not a deep team, playing without arguably their best player, Kevin McCullough, and now you have Furphy, who is a key contributor, 4th on the team in scoring, down, gets up, actually looks, generally speaking, okay.
So Furphy's going to go to the bench and get checked down a little bit further. Jamari McDowell, another freshman, will check in for Kansas. It'll be Jayhawk basketball here after this small stoppage. So clock stopped with 13:41 to go here in the first half. Jayhawks in front of the Bulldogs 20-13.
Referee Lamar Simpson just scooped up an earring off the playing floor.
Might have been a KU cheerleaders. The Jayhawk cheerleaders were the team out here at the media timeout. Jayhawks get the basketball inbounds to one. Harris directing traffic out front. Jayhawks 8 of their first 9 shooting the basketball tonight. Samford has not been able to get stops here in the half court so far. Can they change that here? Shot clock at 12. Harris off the high screen from Adams, kicks. Marco Jackson got to the mid-range, got it up and in.
Over pursued by Rylan Jones. Bit on that fake, opened up a mid-range jump shot.
Well, Marco Jackson averaging just over 4 points a game this year, and Kansas, a dream start for the Jayhawks. They've gotten contributions from 5 different scorers already. On top by 9, 22-13. Achor for 3. Off a little bit to the left, Dickinson the rebound. Nathan Johnson got stiff-armed into the basket support. He's behind the play, 5-on-4. Dickinson lays it in. A double-digit lead for the Jayhawks. Samford in desperate need of a bucket. Jones trapped off the screen, got to Nathan Johnson, who gets it right back to him. 24-13, Kansas in front. A.J. Staten McCray off another high screen from Achor. Against KJ Adams, kicks. Jones got to the free throw line, looking for an outlet, instead falls away and is too strong with his fall away Jay. Another defensive clearance for KU.
5 of 16 for Samford, and Kansas is 10 of 11.
Lob inside to Adams, was knocked out of bounds by the Bulldogs. It'll stay down here with KU, and Samford going back to their bench for reinforcements. Jermaine Marshall checks in, Jaden Campbell returns as well, and for the first time we'll see Josh Holloway, the true freshman from Memphis, Tennessee. KU, meanwhile, will counter with Parker Brown. He'll replace Hunter Dickinson. Bill Self getting him a breather just before the under-12 media timeout. Riley Allensbach returns for Samford. Bucky McMillan doing likewise with Achor. 12:05 to go in the first half. KU in front by 11, but it's turned over out front. Garrett Hicks collects the loose ball, finds Jaden Campbell for 3. Bang! Third 3 of this first half for Samford. Jaden Campbell's first hit, and Riley Allensbach almost forced a turnover. did he? Last touched by Samford. It'll be Kansas basketball on the other side of our under 12 media timeout. 11:52 to go in this first half. Samford looking for a little bit of life. Maybe Jaden Campbell's three gives them some. It's the Jayhawks 24, the Bulldogs 16. You're listening to our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Where you get your PharmD matters. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy is mission-driven. Supportive faculty and staff commit themselves to students' success. McWhorter School of Pharmacy is interprofessional, an environment that fosters collaboration with nursing, health professions, and public health students. Students can personalize their degrees with numerous study abroad opportunities, didactic and experiential electives, and joint degree options. Customize your studies in our state-of-the-art facilities to achieve specific career goals such as missions, research, community pharmacy, hospital and residency, and more. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy, preparing pharmacists who transform lives for more than 100 years.
At Samford, strength and purpose come together. They push your gifts to their fullest potential, turning your passions into powerful skills for shaping our world. Samford's dedicated professors build your skills so you thrive in complex environments. Visit campus in Birmingham to see firsthand how Samford supports your growth toward everything you seek to achieve.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cooks Pest Control.
Welcome back courtside to the Delta Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Blake Gardner, Dave Friedman, our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament presented by Cooks Pest Control. Our score right now, Kansas 24, Samford 16. The winner of this contest advances to Saturday night, the round of 32, to take on the number 5 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs, who took care of McNeese with no trouble at all. So far, Samford putting up a little bit more of a fight than McNeese did, trying to spring the upset tonight. But Dave, right now the big problem for Samford, they're shooting 35% from the floor on one end, but it's the defensive end where they just have not been able to find any stops.
Right, and so many of those points have come easily. 10 points in the paint for Kansas, and they're coming on dunks and layups. Yeah, they're 3 for 3 from outside the arc, but they haven't tried a three in more than 4 minutes. When they've gotten opportunities, it's been in tight. Now, in the last segment, they turned the ball over. They turned it over 4 times so far today. That the pressure gets to Kansas a little bit, and that can be collective. As the game goes on, that can become more and more of an issue.
KU sticking with 3 members of its bench out of the timeout. It's Kansas basketball, inbounded in the backcourt to the freshman from New Jersey, Elmarco Jackson, working out front with a redshirt senior point guard, DeJuan Harris. Harris off KJ Adams' screen, kicks to the corner. Much better close out to the shooter this time. Adams inside working against Marshall. Harris cutting inside, was fouled on his way up.
I mean, you'd much rather the hard foul than a layup. And that time, at least Samford had positional in the right space. They had a couple of guys inside the restricted area to contest the play at the rim.
Fouls on Riley Allensbach. The true freshman has picked up his second already. DeJuan Harris at the free throw line. His first is good. Harris, a distributing point guard at heart. Not a big-time three-point shooter, but a good free throw shooter. Almost 80% so far this year.
Has an NCAA tournament championship ring.
His second rattles home as well, so Kansas's lead is back to double digits. Jayhawks 26, Bulldogs 16, 11 and a half minutes to go here in the first. Josh Holloway working the point right now for Samford with Rylan Jones on the bench. Working out front with Riley Allensbach, another freshman. Holloway splits the double team, finds an open shooter. It's Jaden Campbell for 3, puts it in. Jaden Campbell back-to-back three-point makes.
And Holloway's first look was into the corner. No one open, found the open target on the wing. Terrific decision.
4 3-point makes for Samford in this first half. Just 3 makes inside the arc so far for the Bulldogs. It's a 7-point game. KJ Adams working against Marshall again, fires from the mid-range, way short. Samford gets a half-court stop. And now can they trim it back to a 2-possession game? Marshall wants it on the pick and pop. Working against the guard, Elmarco Jackson. Takes him inside, got doubled, and turned it over. His pass intercepted, but KU couldn't hold on to it. It's out of bounds, and it'll stay down on the other end with Samford. So Marshall fortunate, his turnover isn't costly.
I was just wondering when they'd go back to Achor, who has struggled on the offensive end thus far, and now is the moment.
Achor just 2 for his first 7 from beyond the arc, 2 for his first 7 from the floor, 0 for 3 beyond the arc. He comes in as Hunter Dickinson returns for KU. Bulldogs get it inbounds. Garrett Hicks on the drive, trying to carve out some space, got it to the front rim, but nothing more. Dickinson's got the rebound. Here comes Kansas in transition. Timberlake attacks. Achor blocked him, but a late whistle and a foul.
Oh, and Achor did not like the call by Tony Padilla, and Padilla looked at him, and if this was not a very veteran crew, you could have been a technical foul.
And another look, and that was clean. Bucky McMillan is letting Tony Padilla have it, as is this Delta Center crowd that is jumping on the Bulldogs bandwagon. So Achor tagged with his first. Bucky McMillan telling Tony Padilla, we better start seeing some whistles on the other end. Achor's foul, the 6th team foul committed by Samford to just 1 committed by the Jayhawks. Timberlake's first free throw was good.
Now Kansas is top 30 in the country. They don't foul a lot. That being said, you certainly want it called the same on both ends.
Timberlake second, true as well. Kansas's lead back to 9, 28-19. Jayhawks in front as we approach the midway point of this opening half. Josh Holloway, the point guard for Samford, rejects the screen of Achor, driving inside, and there is a KU whistle that'll send Josh Holloway to the line and get some mock cheers from this Utah crowd.
I really like the way Holloway has come in and run the team. A young guy, hasn't been in this situation before, has played very composed, made good decisions.
Fouls on Elmarco Jackson, his first. Josh Holloway shooting a couple. His first free throw rattles home. Josh Holloway, a true freshman from Memphis, Tennessee, took a prep year at the prestigious Oak Hill Academy before making his way to this Samford program. It'll likely be his offense to run coming up next season. These are big, big moments for the true freshman as he knocks down both free throws. Samford back within 7. A football score on the board right now, 28-21, KU in front. Good news for Kansas, Furphy back in the game. KU breaks the pressure, and Dickinson the recipient of another lob and hammer. Back on the other end, Josh Holloway attacks again, draws more contacts, and almost got that to go down. He'll go back to the free throw line. This time the foul called on Timberlake.
We talked in the pregame about Dickinson and what a huge key he is for Bill Self. Well, he's got 9 points. He's 4 of 4 shooting. And yeah, we certainly see the heavily taped right shoulder. It doesn't really seem to be affecting him.
So right back to the free throw line goes Josh Holloway. And this one a little bit strong. So after 2 for 2 at the line, that one doesn't go. Nicholas Timberlake checks out for Kansas, and KU goes back big with KJ Adams returning. Holloway puts it on the floor, flips it up, flips it in. 3 out of 4 at the stripe for Josh Holloway in this first half. Samford trails by 8, 30-22. Under 10 minutes to go in this first half as KJ Adams helps KU break the full court pressure. And Samford, for the first time tonight, is going to show a little bit of zone. Adams along the baseline got free, kicks. Jackson got it right back to him. Adams gets it back out front. 10 to shoot for KU. Jackson on the drive. Kicks to the corner, and a not clean catch from DeJuan Harris. The Jayhawks turn it over.
Different defensive look, and Kansas kind of passing it around the perimeter. That's what Samford wants them to do. You're trying to deny the pass inside.
So far, it has been a dichotomy of outcomes for KU. They have either come away with a made bucket or turned it over. 6 turnovers, but they're shooting 85% from the floor. Big reason why the Jayhawks, despite the giveaways, have a 3-possession lead. Samford trying to trim into it here on this half-court trip. Jermaine Marshall in the high post against KJ Adams. Pumps, goes up strong, a little strong off the back iron. And the fight for the rebound won by Adams and the Jayhawks. And here comes KU. DeJuan Harris tried to lob it inside. It got deflected right back to him. Adams, a straight line drive against Marshall, scores, and a foul. And that not a good sign for Samford. The foul on Jermaine Marshall is his second. And he is going to take a seat with 9 minutes left in this first half. Nathan Johnson checks in for Samford, as does Dallas Graziani. But Samford loses one of their best post presences now with 2 personal fouls. Samford now into the penalty with their 17th foul. KJ Adams trying to complete the 3-point play. He cannot, but Dickinson taps out the rebound, and another chance coming for KU. Harris navigates the high screen up top for KJ Adams, another alley-oop jam. And the Jayhawks have opened up their largest lead of the first half. They lead by a dozen, 34-22, Kansas in front. Rylan Jones and Dallas Graziani working here in the half court for Samford. Graziani along the baseline, ran into a crowd, looking for an option, found it short. His layup erased by Dickinson at close range. Furphy in transition finds Jackson, who spins it in. Timeout, Samford.
It's just too easy. Everything for Kansas is within 4 or 5 feet of the basket. This is a team that's NIL'd up with All-Americans, McDonald All-Americans, actual All-Americans. You can't give them the high percentage look that Samford has thus far.
18 of KU's 36 points have come in the paint. Their lead is 14 with a timeout on the floor. 8:27 to go. Kansas 36, Samford 22 as you listen to our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Here at Cumberland, we're not just providing a law degree or a means to a professional career. We believe fundamentally that if you find something that you're passionate about that gives you purpose, you're going to do a better job. And so here we're really working on building out all of our programming with an eye toward helping students come in, find their purpose, and pursue that purpose throughout their professional lives.
Hey Samford, President Beck Taylor here. I wanted to remind you that Samford Giving Day is back. It's April 9th, and what's exciting about this day is that it rallies the entire Samford family, from students to worldwide friends of the university. It's your chance to support some of your favorite areas of campus. And remember, your gift, big or small, impacts this place greatly. Again, Samford Giving Day, April 9th, a 24-hour window for you to show your Samford support. Go Bulldogs.
Advance your career with an MBA from Samford University's Brock School of Business. Nationally ranked by Fortune, our Master of Business Administration program develops ethical business leaders for a modern and competitive workforce. It's flexible for the working professional and customizable. Choose from concentrations in data analytics, finance, and sports business. Learn more or apply at samford.edu/go/MBA.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cooks Pest Control.
Back here inside the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Blake Gardner, Dave Friedman here with you. Our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network. It's brought to you by Cooks Pest Control. Homeowners in the Southeast have turned to Cooks for pest control since 1928. And Cooks is dedicated to servicing their customers and the community and is a proud sponsor of Samford Athletics. 6 straight scored by the Jayhawks, and they cannot miss right now. They're getting everything they want in and around the paint. KU has missed just 2 field goals in the first 11-plus minutes. It's what's allowed them to open up this 14-point edge.
12 assists on 14 baskets for Kansas. They're having it way too easy. They're getting the ball in positions that you can score. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to tell you this, and Samford's Bucky McMillan, the whole staff knows it. They got to be more stout inside.
KU 19 assists per game is what they average. That is second in all of college basketball. That ball sharing on display so far in this first half, and a slight delay before we get things going. It looks like someone's blood was dripping on the floor. Trying to get that cleaned up before we resume. Samford basketball, 8:25 to go as Dallas Graziani brings it across the timeline here. Can Samford cut into this deficit before the halftime break? Riley Allen's back out front. Tried to hand it to Rylan Jones, couldn't get it to him. Finally did get it to Nathan Johnson before a 5-second call. Johnson surveying his options, gets it back to Rylan Jones. Shot clock at 10 for Samford. Jones trying to make something happen. Late shot clock. A tough fall away inside the arc. Was in and out, but just would not go down. KU gets another stop. Samford 2 of their last 11 shooting the basketball against one of the top 15 defenses in the country this year. Kansas has a chance to extend that 14-point lead. Harris gets it to Adams on the short roll. He kicks. Jackson corner 3, way off the mark. And Furphy gets the offensive rebound over Graziani. And a technical foul has been assessed to the Samford bench. And the crowd really not enjoying that. It looked like Dallas Graziani had rebounding position. Furphy went over the top of him for the rebound. The Samford bench insists at the lack of whistle. And Tony Padilla is going to have a long conversation here with Bucky McMillan at this media timeout. 7:32 to go here in Utah. Kansas 36, Samford 22. We'll take a timeout. More from our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network after this.
Historic renovation is underway on Samford's state-of-the-art campus recreation, wellness, and athletic complex, and we can't wait till you see the finished product. Seibert Hall is being transformed into a world impacting the health and mental well-being of Samford students. The new complex will also provide new practice and training facilities for our Bulldog student athletes, enhancing their already extremely successful
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cooks Pest Control.
Back here inside the Delta Center, Salt Lake City, Utah. Home to this Midwest regional matchup between Samford and Kansas. 7:32 to go in the first half. And a bit of controversy here before we went to break. A technical foul assessed not to Samford head coach Bucky McMillan, but to the Samford bench after the lack of a whistle on a rebound. So it'll be technical free throws coming here for the Jayhawks out of the stoppage.
I don't know what to say. I mean, you clearly said the magic word to get that sort of response from Tony Padilla. But, I mean, the problem remains the same. 14 of 17 shooting for Kansas, 12 assists on 14 baskets, 18 points in the paint. You would have hoped, though, we had a stoppage and played for 30 seconds. Now we have another stoppage. Maybe Samford gets the message here and gets their feet underneath them and makes some sort of rally to make this a 8-point game or what have you around halftime.
36-22. Kansas in front at the moment and shooting technical free throws here when we resume. Tony Padilla, Mike Kempom, was one of the top 10 officials in college basketball this year. He was the crew chief for the Pac-12 championship game last weekend between Colorado and Oregon. But right now, this Delta Center crowd not happy with him, and that Samford bench certainly not happy with him. As DeJuan Harris is at the free throw line shooting technical free throws. His first is good. 8 of the 11 fouls in this first half so far have been committed by Samford, as Harris knocks down the second free throw as well. Kansas's lead now 16, and the Jayhawks still have the basketball with a shot clock at 20 and 7.5 minutes left in this first half. Rylan Jones back into the game for Samford. Jermaine Marshall remains on the bench for the Bulldogs with his 2 personal fouls. KU working around the perimeter, trying to get it inside. Good defense by Achor. He knocked it away. Nathan Johnson tried to save it along the baseline, but couldn't. So it'll be Jayhawk basketball inbounding from underneath their own bucket with 10 to shoot. Juan Harris surveying his options, finds KJ Adams. Adams couldn't turn the corner, kicks. Elmarco Jackson on the drive, over Jones, off the window, no. And Achor wrestles the rebound away from Dickinson. And Samford cut into this deficit. Campbell off Achor's screen, tried to get it back to him. It was knocked away by Furphy out of bounds.
On defense, instead of giving up a layup, you contested a little 8-footer. That's considerably better.
Samford has gotten just 4 stops in the half court, not counting the 6 KU turnovers they've forced. Bulldogs have taken 4 more shots, but they're shooting only 32%. Nathan Johnson for 3. He thought he got fouled. Referees didn't agree. Here comes KU after they secure the defensive board. Harris trying to get it inside to Dickinson, couldn't. KJ Adams gets it right back to Harris out front. Jayhawks working their half-court set. Dickinson couldn't catch that pass over the top. It was too tall.
Dickinson thought he was held, and there's little doubt that part of his jersey got pulled, but this time they decide not to whistle. Let it break for Samford. Now can they convert?
7 turnovers forced by Samford, but they've gone over 3 minutes and 20 seconds without scoring. Can they change that on this trip? Achor out front as Samford runs their offense. Achor down low, Nathan Johnson pumps along the baseline, kicks. Graziani passed up the 3, takes a 2 instead and puts it in. An 18-footer goes for Dallas Graziani. Samford back within 14, and Graziani forces the steal, pokes it away from Jackson from behind, and a whistle and a foul goes against Kansas. Dallas Graziani making plays on both ends.
And we talked about this is not a stage too big for him. Playing for Jim Crutchfield at Nova Southeastern, won a national title at the D2 level last year.
That is now 9 straight games with at least 1 steal for Dallas Graziani. He's got the basketball working it across the timeline for Samford. 6 minutes to go in this first half. 14-point game. Rylan Jones off a Achor's screen. That ball was kicked by Harris. And Samford will get a shot clock reset to 20 on the timer. Jaden Campbell to get it inbounds for Samford, gets it to Achor, who finds A.J. Staten-McRae. Achor, post extended, hands to Graziani, got it right back. Achor inside, lays it in. Pretty finish off the pro hop.
Jackson, much smaller than Achor, ended up guarding him.
And a foul on the inbounds is an offensive foul.
Graziani hit the deck and kind of baited Tony Padilla into the call.
And the referees are going to go to the monitor here. Padilla's initial call was for a hook and hold. And so we'll have our first replay review of the night with the clock stopped 5:44 to go in this first half.
Well, that would be a difference maker. A hook and a hold would be 2 shots and the ball.
It was Graziani who went to the deck after he was tied up with DeJuan Harris. Play under review. The referee's over to the monitor. We're not getting a look, but our crew chief, Tony Padilla, is, along with Lamar Simpson. Again, the call on the floor is just a common offensive foul, which would give Samford possession of the basketball. A hook and hold is a flagrant 1 foul, and if that's the call against Harris, it's free throws coming for Samford plus possession. So a big call here potentially as Samford tries to work their way back within striking distance, trailing by 12. It's KU 38, Samford 26. With under 6 minutes to play in this first half, and this Delta Center crowd is just begging for Samford to make a push here late in this first half.
I don't actually think it's a hook and a hold they're looking at. I think they're looking to see if Graziani got elbowed in the face. Contact above the neck and shoulder area.
And after review, it looks like nothing but just the common foul that was on the floor. Will Howard coming over to confirm that for us.
Yeah, common foul.
So it'll be Samford basketball. That's 9 Kansas turnovers in this first half. Samford has already benefited 9 points off of those KU turnovers. Can they tack on a few more here? Jaden Campbell right side for 3. Off a little bit to the left. Dickinson the rebound, hoisted into the front court. Jackson made a contested catch. His pass across the floor, picked off. A.J. Staten McCray picked it. A transition 3 is a little short. And Dickinson again, a deep outlet. Kansas has numbers. Furphy in transition, had his pass deflected. Staten McCray, Campbell couldn't save that one into the cheerleaders.
Dickinson outlets the ball like Kevin Love. He's so big and so strong. He can throw that pass 50 or 60 feet down the floor. Feels like Samford has had a couple of good opportunities here in the last minute to trim this to single digits.
Bulldogs just 4 of 13 from beyond the arc in the first half. Just haven't found that three-point make that takes the roof off this building. 5:15 left in the opening stanza. KU by 12, and they turn it over again. Jackson throws it into press row. Credit this Samford pressure. It's starting to pay dividends, and Elmarco Jackson will take a seat as Nicholas Timberlake returns for KU. Samford has been given opportunities to get back in this game. Can they capitalize here in the final 5 minutes of this first half? Achor pick and pop with Graziani into the paint, sent backwards by Dickinson. And it's ricocheted out of bounds.
Achor is 3 of 10, and his shot selection has been interesting. I just don't think attacking Hunter Dickinson is a winning formula.
Couple of swats already for Dickinson. Off the baseline, out of bounds. Graziani too deep in the corner for Jaden Campbell to make the catch. And just the second turnover committed by Samford here in this first half. 5:01 on the clock. KU 38, Samford 26. The number 4 seed Jayhawks have been in control most of this first half. They've led by as many as 16. Samford get it down to single digits before this half comes to a close. Dickinson from 14 feet, way off the mark. Samford gets another stop.
He can have that one all day.
Rylan Jones to Achor, rim run and a one-handed throw down. Achor puts Timberlake on a poster. And here comes this Delta Center crowd. Achor, a play for the highlight reels. Samford within 10, 4:25 to go in this first half. Crowd wants to stop. Instead, KJ Adams, an alley-oop jam. Adams lurking behind the Samford zone, an easy flush. 40-28, Kansas in front. Campbell off the bounce, floats it up and off the rim, no good. KU trying to work in transition and an offensive foul. Timberlake and Harris both ran the same lane, and Harris crashed into A.J. Staten McCray as he tried to make a play on the basketball. That was the offensive foul, and it's the second on the redshirt senior point guard. So KU has 2 fouls now on their 2 starting guards, and we've got a timeout on the floor. 3:59 left in this first half. Kansas 40, Samford 28. It's Bulldogs basketball on the other side of this break as you listen to our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Samford President Beck Taylor. Life-changing scholarships, world-class faculty, career-focused curriculum, the integration of Christian faith and learning. These are just some of the ways we prepare students for lifelong success here at Samford University, and we can't do that without you. Our donors are the reasons we can provide extraordinary support and opportunity for our students. We take the incredible gifts we receive and use them to impact the lives of countless individuals. As you consider making a major gift to Samford, please know your donation will be stewarded faithfully and thoughtfully to foster a Samford experience, one in which students' passions can truly meet their purpose. By investing in Samford University, you invest in the future, not only on this campus, but beyond. Thank you for supporting Samford. Your gift will create a legacy and stand as a testament to the transformative work that takes place each and every day at this university. For God, for learning, forever.
Welcome back to Salt Lake City, Utah, and our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournaments here on the Sanford Sports Network, brought to you by Cook's Pest Control. Fans, this broadcast of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship is authorized under broadcast rights granted by the NCAA through Westwood One. It is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the NCAA and Westwood One is strictly prohibited. 3:59 to go here in the first half. KU 40, Samford 28. KU has led in this first half by as many as 16, but Samford has scored 6 of the last 8 points. And Dave, now's the time for Samford to make a push to get this thing to a single-digit deficit by the break.
Well, you said it. The pressure is getting to him. Kansas has given it away 12 times. That's an extraordinary number. Samford needs to take advantage. And slowly but surely, the offense looks better. They're getting better shots. Yeah, they're still only shooting 33%.
Hard to believe Samford has taken 10 more shots than Kansas in this first half, and yet find themselves trailing by a dozen. Josh Holloway, Jaden Campbell, A.J. Staten-McCray, Achor, and Garrett Hicks, the 5 on the floor for Samford. As we resume action, Samford with the basketball working in the half court. Hicks out front. A.J. Staten-McCray nowhere to go against Furphy. Shot clock at 9 for Samford. Staten-McCray spins inside, finds a cutting Achor for an easy lay-in. What a find.
Could have put up an off-balance layup, might have gotten blocked. Instead, found an open teammate for a layup. Really, really good decision.
Achor's got 10 of the Samford 30 in the first half. It's a 10-point game. 3.5 minutes to go in this opening 20. Samford has strung together stops of late. Can they continue it here? Elmarco Jackson from the free throw line puts it in. Jackson's got a half dozen off the KU bench. 42-30, Kansas in front. Holloway attacks, tried to scoop it up and did not draw iron. Might have gotten partially blocked by Timberlake.
Really tough shot falling away.
A.J. Adams works it across for KU before shoveling it off. Marco Jackson off the high screen. Dickinson pick and pop for 3. No, rebound belongs to Achor. Here comes Samford in transition. Garrett Hicks attacks, leaves it for Achor. He walks into an open 3. Yes, sir! Don't look now. Here comes Achor. Achor, timeout, Kansas.
That's what you're looking for. Hunter Dickinson is a capable three-point shooter, but much, much better that he's shooting from 20 feet than he's shooting from 2 feet. And on the other end, Dickinson wants to play a one-man zone in the paint. Achor stands at the three-point line, pretty good three-point shooter. It draws the defense. Dickinson doesn't really want to go out there and get him. When Achor can hit that shot, it completely changes the way Kansas wants to play defense.
Achor 0 for his first 3 from beyond the arc tonight, but a 45% three-point shooter, nothing but net on his last attempt. And Samford has got it back to a single-digit deficit. KU 42, Samford 33, 2:43 to go. And Achor's going to get a quick breather here. Zach Loveday into the game for the first time, the senior from Baylor. Did not play at all in Samford's 3 games in the Southern Conference Tournament, but he's going to try to give Samford some big minutes here late in this first half.
A big body to match up with Dickinson for a minute or two. You want to give him as many different looks as you have.
Loveday listed at 7 feet. So trying to match up with Dickinson's 7'2" frame.
Zone look.
Again, Jermaine Marshall on the Samford bench. He picked up 2 fouls early in this first half. Furphy, right wing for KU, trying to drive baseline, turn the corner, kicks. Dickinson, a post touch, flips it up and in over the top of Loveday.
Wasn't terrible defense, he contested.
Hunter Dickinson's got 11 in this first half for Kansas. KU by 11, 44-33, 2:10 left in the half. A.J. Staten-McCray hounded by K.J. Adams. Staten-McCray looking for space, not finding any. Hicks straight away with 10 to shoot. Hicks off the bounce, kicks. Staten-McCray fires from the corner, away shorts.
Wasn't shot ready when he got the pass.
Adams in transition finds Jackson. Pretty left-hand finish, but it went off the mark, and Zach Loveday's got the board for Samford. Would have been an acrobatic finish from the freshman, but he couldn't get it to go down. Samford in the half court. Zach Loveday off the right box. Kicks across the floor to Garrett Hicks and now goes to set him a screen. Hicks slings to the corner. Staten McRae back out front. Hicks with a shot clock at 7. An NBA range 3 is good. Garrett Hicks' first make from beyond the arc tonight. And a huge hit for Samford. It's an 8-point game. In transition, Timberlake attacks, and a late whistle and a foul. Loveday thought he was straight up, but as Loveday and Timberlake were both coming back down to the floor, a whistle sends Timberlake to the strike.
Yeah, the Samford bench did not like the whistle from Lamar Simpson one bit.
And more boos from the crowd after they saw the replay here in the building. Foul on Loveday, his first. Nicholas Timberlake, a nearly 80% free throw shooter, to the line. And his first is good. Samford will make a trio of changes here. Rylan Jones, Nathan Johnson, and Achor all return. Timberlake getting the start tonight for KU with no Kevin McCullough. His second free throw good as well. He's got 7 in this first half. And KU's going to go offense or defense for offense in this case. Timberlake checks out and Jamari McDowell returns. This feels like a big 72 seconds here in a 10-point game. KU 46, Samford 36. Bulldogs trying to get this to a single-digit deficit at the halftime break. Samford working in the half court. Garrett Hicks, right wing, finds Achor out near the logo. Jaden Campbell, right side of the floor, 15 to shoot for Samford. Johnson against KJ Adams off the right block. Trying to go to work. Johnson forces it up, couldn't get it to go down. Dickinson once again the board for Kansas. Dickinson ran the floor as well, couldn't lay it in. Good defense by Rylan Jones, and Nathan Johnson trying to rip away the rebound was fouled. And that is going to go against Jamari McDowell and will send Johnson to the line on the 7th team foul committed by KU.
And it also sets up a 2-for-1. If they had controlled the rebound, come down the court, you're probably going to chew up 6 or 8 seconds. Kansas is going to essentially have the last shot of the half. Here you get 1-and-1. If you can knock home a couple free throws, you're also going to get another possession.
Samford 4 of 6 at the stripe in this first half. Nathan Johnson, a 68% free throw shooter this year. The Iowa native's first free throw is good. Johnson didn't score in the Southern Conference title game against ETSU, but was 5 of 8 at the stripe in the semifinal contest against Furman. Big second free throw coming up to trim this to an 8-point deficit. Johnson hoisted up. He got it. 40.7 seconds left, and Samford will make a change. Josh Holloway in for Garrett Hicks. Kansas 46, Samford 38, and the Bulldogs sent up their full court pressure once again. Furphy gets it inbounds to KJ Adams, who gets it right back to him. And the freshman from Australia gets it across. Shot clock and game clock separated by about 11 seconds. Samford hoping this is the final KU possession of the half. Adams post-to-post, Dickinson, yes again for the paints. 13 for Hunter Dickinson to go along with 10 rebounds already in this first half. And the KU faithful rise to their feet with the Jayhawks in front by 10. 10 seconds to go. Here in the opening 20 minutes, Josh Holloway got to the elbow, spinning inside, trying to create some space kicks. Johnson, a deep 3 at the horn, off the mark. And that is how the first half comes to a close. Kansas led by as many as 16, but Samford has trimmed it to 10. And at the break, our score here in Salt Lake City, the number 4 seed Kansas Jayhawks 48, the number 13 seed Samford Bulldogs 38. And all things considered, not a terrible spot to be.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the pace. It's generally gone Samford's way. We talked about threes. The percentage isn't great, but you've hit 6 of them. We talked about the jitters. I think more or less they worked those out over the first 6 minutes or so. The problem is big old Dickinson. 13 points and 10 rebounds. They go into the locker room and they need a plan to alter his impact on the game.
Our score at the half once again, Kansas 48, Samford 38. We'll take a timeout. Coming up, a very special guest, Mr. Corey Green, joins our coverage here courtside in Salt Lake City as you listen to our cast of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Where you get your PharmD matters. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy is mission-driven. Supportive faculty and staff commit themselves to students' success. McWhorter School of Pharmacy is interprofessional, an environment that fosters collaboration with nursing, health professions, and public health students. Students can personalize their degrees with numerous study abroad opportunities, didactic and experiential electives, and joint degree options. Customize your studies in our state-of-the-art facilities to achieve specific career goals such as missions, research, community pharmacy, hospital and residency, and more. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy, preparing pharmacists who transform lives for more than 100 years.
At Samford, strength and purpose come together. They push your gifts to their fullest potential, turning your passions into powerful skills for shaping our world. Samford's dedicated professors build your skills so you thrive in complex environments. Visit campus in Birmingham to see firsthand how Samford supports your growth toward everything you seek to achieve.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cooks Pest Control.
Back here inside the Delta Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Blake Gardner, Dave Friedman, our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament presented by Cooks Pest Control. And very pleased to be joined by a special guest, Executive Associate AD, Mr. Corey Green in the house. You were on the floor the last time Samford was in the NCAA tournament. What's it been like watching from the seats so far?
It's been amazing. Just sitting up there with the constituency from Homewood, Birmingham, Samford, and just the energy in the building. It seems like we picked up about 10,000 fans today. So, I'm proud of the guys. We have to turn it up, take on our style more so than theirs. But it's been a cool experience looking at it from that perspective.
When you look back at your trips to the NCAA tournament, what are some of your favorite memories? What stands out?
Just, that year, those years, we had such a bond amongst the team. I think that's the thing that lasts over time. You don't remember individual games, but you remember the overall accomplishment and how we bonded together as brothers. And, again, now here it is. We're all reliving this memory through this team, and certainly my phone started buzzing about before 6 o'clock this morning, and my teammates were just fired up about the game. So that's the thing that I remember the most, just how we felt, how we bonded as a unit, how we competed, and certainly the accomplishment speaks for itself.
Talking to Boyd Kaiser up at the Southern Conference Championship game in Asheville, he said he had plenty of group texts that were popping off as Samford has been making this trek here over the last couple of weeks. I'm sure it's been really exciting to interact not only with guys that you played with, but also alumni and people that have supported this program for a long, long time that are so pumped to see this team on this stage.
Absolutely. It's a huge moment for Samford University. Our president, our AD, our board, and everybody that's bought into buckyball and the investment it takes to build a great program. And so now to be able to be rewarded on the grand stage, we somehow became the national favorite upset, and I don't think we like that too much, but the exposure for our university is what you do it for, right? And these guys have worked hard. Blake, you've been around the whole year. You've watched them grind, and they deserve to be in this moment. So we got a half to go. We got to certainly slow down that big man, but I'm just proud to see that this team is being rewarded for all of the effort that it puts into it, and certainly our community, our crowd, our administration, and all have poured into it. So it's a cool moment.
And it's been an awesome venue here in Salt Lake City. Of course, plenty of Samford fans that made the flight out, made the trip. You said a lot of the neutrals here are trying to support Samford. What's it been like with that Samford logo on your chest interacting with the locals here in Salt Lake City?
Hey, man, I wear it with pride. Just even on the street today, I passed plenty of Kansas fans. I like to look them in their eye and see if they really got what it takes, and, a little competitor in me. But everybody's cordial. Everybody wants their team to do the best, and I certainly respect what they have as a legacy. But this is our time. I think this team still has an awesome opportunity in this game, and we're certainly building for the future as well. So kind of looking at it in a lot of different ways. But it's been a cool experience out here in Salt Lake, and certainly being able to interact with the team and the fans in the same breath. It's been really, really rewarding.
To your point, Bucky McMillan in his press conference yesterday said he hopes this is the first of many trips to the NCAA tournament for this Samford University program. I mean, you've had a close as view as anybody. What's it been like to see this program being built under Bucky McMillan over the last few seasons?
Well, it's amazing. Details matter. He's a very competitive person. I think he's a basketball and a mental savant, and I think he puts everything in a competition mode. You saw him at warm-up yesterday or shoot-around, and so I like that. I think our community, our fans, our campus has bought into the competitive nature in which he does everything. We're certainly 1,000% behind Bucky Ball. We want to keep him for a long time, and we need our community to step up and continue to support him. So this is just one of many steps in a building process. I think he spoke about that his first year, right? And to have a vision and to have a process and to have a grit about getting it done, it's been really cool to see that manifest. So being close to this program for the next about 2 years, that's the thing that I've seen the most, that I respect the work ethic and the intentionality.
What's this going to take for Samford here in the second half?
Well, we got to play our style of ball. We got to hit some shots. I think we turned it on a little bit at the end of the half. That big guy is very skilled, and so we got to do something about him and can't let him break our press. I think anytime you get dunked on, it does an emotional thing to you, right? And so we got to slow that down. I think their shooters have cooled off, and so if we get our style going, our guys can get a little bit confidence. We should be in for a fun second half, and so that's what me and the fans up here are looking forward to. And so let's go Bulldogs, man.
Let's do it. The second half coming up here in about 13 minutes or so. We'll take a timeout. More from our coverage in Salt Lake City here at the Delta Center on the Samford Sports Network when we return after this quick break.
Here at Cumberland, we're not just providing a law degree or a means to a professional career. We believe fundamentally that if you find something that you're passionate about that gives you purpose, you're going to do a better job. And so here we're really working on building out all of our programming with an eye toward helping students come in, find their purpose, and pursue that purpose throughout their professional lives.
Hey Samford, President Beck Taylor here. I wanted to remind you that Samford Giving Day is back. It's April 9th, and what's exciting about this day is that it rallies the entire Samford family, from students to worldwide friends of the university. It's your chance to support some of your favorite areas of campus. And remember, your gift, big or small, impacts this place greatly. Again, Samford Giving Day, April 9th, a 24-hour window for you to show your Samford support. Go Bulldogs.
Advance your career with an MBA from Samford University's Brock School of Business. Nationally ranked by Fortune, our Master of Business Administration program develops ethical business leaders for a modern and competitive workforce. It's flexible for the working professional and customizable. Choose from concentrations in data analytics, finance, and sports business. Learn more or apply at samford.edu/go/MBA.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
Welcome back to our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournaments here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Here on the Samford Sports Network, presented by Cook's Pest Control. Fans, you know that jingle, looky, 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 here comes Cookie. Well, Cook's Pest Control provides pest control, termite control, and mosquito control. You do not have to live with pests. Get proven protection from Cook's Pest Control online at cookspest.com or by calling the number 205-942-7775. Again, our broadcast brought to you tonight by Cook's Pest Control. Halftime here at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's Kansas, the number 4 seed with 48. It's Samford, the number 13 seed with 38 points. Blake Gardner, Dave Friedman here with you. The Jayhawks led by as many as 16 in that first half, but Samford has trimmed it back down to 10. The Bulldogs shooting just 35% from the floor there in that opening half. 13 made field goals on 37 shots. Samford got 11 more looks at the rim than KU did, but Samford shooting just 35%, Kansas nearly 70%, and the Bigs doing work as we thought they might. Hunter Dickinson with 13 points and 10 rebounds, a first half double-double for one of the nation's leaders in that category. And the other big, KJ Adams, chipping in as well. He has 10 points, Those two bigs have half the production for Kansas so far in the first half. Meanwhile, for Stanford, they've gotten a bunch of different scorers on the mark, but it's a chores, 13 points on 13 shots that lead the way for Stanford. The Bulldogs, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country so far, just 35%, although they did start to see some fall there late in the first half. They have 6 three-point makes so far, and Dave, after that technical foul there on the bench, which was somewhat controversial, Samford actually leads this game after that stretch. Can they find a little bit of momentum? That's the question to start the second half somehow.
Well, I mean, I feel like they got into a rhythm, and the defense toughened, and the offense got better shots. They turned over the Jayhawks, but when it's all said and done, Dickinson is getting an awful lot of looks, very tight to the basket. How many dunks did Kansas have in the first half? 4 or 5 of them. They threw over the top of the zone once or twice, couple in transition. You just can't give up really easy points. Aside from that, last 6-8 minutes of the half, they did a really nice job. When Kansas was up 16 with 7 and change to go, you were thinking, oh boy, the last 7.5 minutes, it got considerably better. There were a lot of positive elements, and I think it was at that point that we said, cut it down to 8 or so at halftime, you'll be okay. It could be a lot worse, and now Bucky McMillan and his staff have 20 minutes to go in and revise and change, get the feedback from the players, make some tweaks, and go out and try to do it in the second half. No one said it's going to be easy. Bill Self has been at Kansas for 20 years. He's won 2 national titles. That's twice more than he's lost in the first round of the tournament. He's never lost in the first round of the tournament. There's a reason they call him a blue blood. But you're in the game. And the way things were trending, that didn't have to be the case.
55 NCAA tournament wins for Bill Self in his time at KU. Samford looking for their first ever NCAA tournament win. They've been here 3 times now. They went back in 1999. We talked to Corey Green earlier. He was a part of that squad. That was a number 14 seed that fell to a number 3 seed, St. John's. They went back the very next year in 2000. This time as a 13th seed, and lost to a number 4 seed, Syracuse, who made a Sweet 16 run. The Samford Bulldogs back once again this year as a number 13 seed, taking on the Kansas Jayhawks tonight. Right now it's KU in front, 48-38 here at halftime. This crowd that is mainly Utah fans and BYU fans, some Gonzaga fans that have stuck around hoping Samford can make a run, as more and more fans try to jump on this Samford Bulldog bandwagon, as Samford presses for their first win ever in the NCAA tournament. 7 minutes until we start this second half between KU and Samford. When we come back, we'll take a quick look around at a busy day in the NCAA tournament across the scoreboard. That when we return to Utah and our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Historic renovation is underway on Samford's state-of-the-art campus recreation, wellness, and athletic complex, and we can't wait till you see the finished product. Cybert Hall is being transformed and impacting the health and mental well-being of Samford students. The new complex will also provide new practice and training facilities for our Bulldog student athletes, enhancing their already extremely successful Division I athletic programs. Bottom line, this place is a
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
Back here in Utah, our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament presented by Cook's Pest Control. One of the final games of the day here between Samford and Kansas on what has been a busy day in the first round of the NCAA tournament. For the most part, the high seeds have taken control. Texas took out Colorado State. Dayton came all the way back here on this very floor to take out Nevada 63-60. What a furious comeback that was. One of the big upsets we had early, a 6-seed South Carolina taking on an 11-seed Oregon that had to win the Pac-12 championship just to get into the tournament bracket. They got a 40-piece from Jermaine Cousinard, taking out the Gamecocks 87-73. The other 11-6 upset, Duquesne. The Duquesne Dukes took out BYU 71-67
First NCAA tournament appearance since 1978. Duquesne, one of the great basketball programs in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. Basically have had no success since then. They were up for most of the game. They got a big run at them, and Day-Day Grant and company shielded them off and got to the finish line in Keith Dambrot's final year as the head coach of the Dukes.
What a story there for Duquesne. Meanwhile, the high seeds taking care of business. Arizona took out Long Beach State by 20, 85-65. North Carolina, the Tar Heels, Oliver Wagner, 90-62. Iowa State, the 2 seed over in the East region, took out South Dakota State, 82-65. The one big seed that did not take control tonight, well, that was the Kentucky Wildcats. The 3-seeded UK falls to Oakland of all teams. The 14 seed takes out Kentucky 80-76 in a game that everybody was watching.
Yeah, and you've got a coach who's been there for 40 years. Greg Campy's the longest tenured coach in college basketball, and finally, after all these years, gets his moment in the sun. If you're Kentucky, if you're Big Blue Nation, you are having a panic attack.
Just 3 other games in action right now. Drake on top by a half dozen as the 10 seed against the 7 seed Washington State. That game over on True TV. And of course on Westwood 1. Over in the South region, there's already been a couple 11s over 6s today. NC State trying to make it 3 of them. Wolfpack in front of Texas Tech 47-44 with 14 minutes to go in that game. And the number 2 seed Tennessee Volunteers taking control against the St. Peter's Peacocks. Falls up 83-47 as that game winds down. 2.5 minutes until the second half comes your way between KU and Samford. Kansas in front 48-38. Samford looking to make a push here coming out of the halftime locker room. The good news, Dave, is you get Jermaine Marshall back. He sat a lot of that first half. He played just 7 minutes with those 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, it was interesting. We obviously know what the stakes are. It is a deep team, but Jermaine Marshall is a key cog, and Bucky McMillan and crew just left him sitting on the bench, figured we can win the game in the second half. You have to believe he's going to have an impact in the final 20.
Only other player on the Bulldogs side of things with 2 personal fouls is Riley Allensback. He was limited to just 4 minutes off the Samford bench with his 2 fouls. On the other side for Kansas, DeJuan Harris, the senior point guard, has 2 fouls. Nicholas Timberlake, tonight's starting shooting guard, has 2 fouls as well for KU. So some big moments here coming when we get this second half started as the Bulldogs try to continue to cut into this deficit. Samford entered the game tonight 7.5-point underdogs to one of the blue bloods in the sport, the Kansas Jayhawks, who have made the NCAA tournaments every year dating back to 1990.
Is that good?
I've been told if you've made the tournament every year that I've been alive and then some, I think that is good.
Yeah, they expect greatness. And if they lose here Saturday to Gonzaga, that's not a good season. That's a problem. We got to go back to the drawing boards. But they're playing without Kevin McCullough, and you just wonder if maybe they have that, okay, we've scored at the rim consistently against these guys. We're bigger, we're stronger, we're supposed to win. Maybe there's an opportunity for Samford to catch them right out of the locker room. A couple of little maneuverings, a couple of strategic switches, and you get Marshall back, and maybe you jump on him here. If you continue to force turnovers, good things will happen.
Samford went 11 players deep in that first half. KU went 8 deep, but had 4 different Jayhawks that played more than 16 minutes in that first half. Nobody on Samford's side of things played 16 minutes in that first half. And we'll see, playing here at altitude again in Salt Lake City, Utah, whether that takes a toll here in this second half. Because you know the Samford pressure is not going to stop. And it's pressure that's already generated a dozen Jayhawk turnovers. It'll be KU basketball when we restart things here in just a moment. Samford, the first team, back to the floor. Kansas joining them here shortly. One of the best offensive halves all season long for Kansas. They shot 69% from the floor, 18 of 26. They made their first 3 threes, didn't hit any more after the opening few minutes, but didn't really need to the way they got production in the paint. We'll see whether that continues here in the second 20 minutes. The second half underway here at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. One of these two teams will play Gonzaga in the round of 32. Timberlake for three, rattles it home right on cue to start the second half.
Just the way they started the first half.
10 points for Nicholas Timberlake in the starting lineup. On the other end, Achor off the glass, no. His follow, no. Jermaine Marshall trying to generate a third Samford opportunity, and he was bumped from behind, trying to bring that ball back down. The foul on Hunter Dickinson, his first. Achor had two pretty good looks at it, but credit Jermaine Marshall, who got in front of the 7'2" Dickinson. Off the baseline, out of bounds. A chance and a three-point play for Marshall, who carved out space inside.
Yeah, really, really good possession. Get it inside, miss, get a rebound, miss again, get another opportunity from the inbound, throw it inside. I love the idea of fighting.
After a quiet first half, Jermaine Marshall a chance to throw 3 more points on his ledger. The Birmingham, Alabama native can't cash in the three-point play. His free throw rattles in and out. Samford's pressure broken by KU. Harris sprints it across. And Samford will set up shop in a zone. Timberlake, same spot. In and out this time from deep. Jaden Campbell the rebound for Samford. Here come the Bulldogs. Ryland Jones got it middle of the floor. Lost his dribble though. And Jermaine Marshall wants a touch, working against Timberlake here. If he doesn't draw a double, he wanted to go to work. Tried to pass it off instead, and it went right through the legs of Dallas Graziani.
Kind of threw it at his feet.
A rare Samford turnover tonight. Kansas with the basketball back. Harris almost had it knocked away, got it back. High post catch Dickinson. Low post KJ Adams working against Jermaine Marshall. Adams bumps once, twice, goes up strong and was fouled, and count the basket as well. It's the third on Marshall.
Boy, it sure feels like Bill Self has told his team, let's try to big boy him. We're stronger, we're tougher, let's throw it inside. You get that 3 to start the half, that kind of loosens up the defense, and now you go right down the pipe.
Kansas will make a change here early in this half. Timberlake checks out, Marco Jackson returns. Decision time here for Samford and Bucky McMillan. You've sat Jermaine Marshall a lot in that first half due to foul trouble, but he's going to stay on the floor for the moment at least with those 3 fouls. KJ Adams at the stripe, his free throw off the mark. Dickinson tried to tap it out but couldn't. Samford clears the boards. Here come the Bulldogs. Jones in transition, open for 3. Off the back iron, no, and a fight for the rebound corralled by KU.
Ryland Jones has not scored.
0 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc for the Utah native in his homecoming. Adams jabbing against Marshall again, goes up strong, scores again.
That's what we saw too much of in the first half, that little 5-footer that's just too close to the rim.
7 of the first 9 points in the second half belong to Kansas. Their lead is back to 15, 2 minutes into this second half. Samford looking for a score. Jones's pocket pass again kicked out of bounds. Clock stops and the timer resets to 20 here on this Samford trip. Dallas Graziani to get it inbounds for the Bulldogs. Finds Jermaine Marshall. Marshall steps behind the line. He'll try a 3. It's short. Samford just 6 of 19 from beyond the arc tonight. And a stoppage as the shot clock never started and then ran a few extra ticks.
When you were packing for the trip, did you consider sneakers like Hunter Dickinson's?
Did not. 1 red and 1 blue.
Almost cranberry and purple.
Probably the most interesting look out there tonight. Ryland Jones and Achor going with the Kobe reverse Grinches tonight. Footwear, a very important topic at shoot-around yesterday.
Just think it's an important topic, period. In the major crises that face the world, I think the shoes, it's all about the shoes.
So we've got a stoppage here with 17:57 to go in the first half as the referees are over to the monitor to make sure both shot clock and game clock get reset correctly. Both for some reason came to a stop, and then a few ticks ran off after the officials blew the whistle.
They had some clock issues here in game 1 today. The Long Beach State loss to Arizona. There was significant issues with the clock late in the first half.
So they're over across the way trying to sort that out. Not the start that the second half Samford was looking for. KU scored 7 of the first 9. Their lead has been opened up back to 15. And it's Jayhawks basketball whenever we get things restarted here.
Look at that Kansas staff. Bill Self in his 20th year. Curtis Townsend's been there for all of it. Then Norm Roberts was the head coach at St. John's and a couple of stints at Kansas. This is a veteran group.
And it says a lot about this program that they lost 9 players off last year's team, including an All-American in Jalen Wilson, and yet who was picked to win the toughest conference in the country in the preseason but Kansas?
If you don't know who to pick, over the years they've been a very, very strong selection.
And some chirping here before we get play restarted. Jermaine Marshall and KJ Adams locked up at the elbow. Referee is trying to get a hold of that. They did get the clock reset, by the way. 17:51 now left in this game, and KU inbounding from near their own bench. They get it into DeJuan Harris, who's hounded by Dallas Graziani. Harris pick and pop with Dickinson, who keeps it moving. Furphy, deep corner 3, off the mark. Samford the rebound. Jones trying to push it ahead to Achor, and a foul as he tried to make a contested catch in transition.
That is a risky pass by Rylan Jones, just trying to force the issue. Kind of 3 guys in the neighborhood of Achor, but he got bumped.
Almost like a quarterback who's trying to throw it up the seam right with the linebacker's helmet turned. He got the pass interference call. Foul on KJ Adams, his first. Samford trying to get it inbounds. Achor in the corner, open for 3, off the top of the backboard. And the loose ball belongs to KU, out front of DeJuan Harris. He's got an open look at 3 in transition, and it is nothing but nets. 10 of the first 12 in the first half belong to KU. They've opened up their largest lead of the night, plus 18. 58-40 Jayhawks. Samford looking for a bucket. Jones got caught in the air, turned it over. Furphy trying to go behind his back, was fouled trying to start the break. The foul on Jaden Campbell, his second. It'll be KU ball once again, inbounding from the side. Samford with just 1 bucket to start this second half, and KU's offense picking up right where it left off in the first. And looking for more. Oh, Marco Jackson out front, off the screen from Adams. Harris to the corner, Furphy driving the baseline, goes up strong, count the basket and 1. And it's the 4th on Jermaine Marshall. And now Marshall has to head to the bench. Nathan Johnson checking in for Samford. It's been a tough NCAA tournament game here for number 4, Jermaine Marshall, the heart and soul of this Samford team. Limited to just 4 points, and now he's picked up his 4th personal foul. First, we at the free throw line, he knocks it down. KU 61, Samford 40. It's 9 straight for the Jayhawks and 13 of the first 15 here in the half. Samford in the half court. Achor, a high post catch, spinning into traffic, forced to kick it back out. Graziani off the screen, weaving back inside to Achor. Against KJ Adams, he was fouled. Adams tagged with his second, and free throws coming for Achor.
In the second half, Samford's 1 of 6 shooting, 0 of 3 from distance, and Kansas is 5 of 7 and 2 for 4 from three-point land.
Samford's calling card has been the efficiency of their offense all season long. One of the highest scoring teams in the country, but to this point they've been stifled by one of the best defensive teams in the nation. As Achor's first free throw is good.
12 Kansas turnovers in the opening 20 minutes, but none so far since halftime.
A.J. Staten McCray returns for Samford. Another free throw coming here for Achor. The breakout star of this Samford program this year. He's the leading scorer once again tonight. His second free throw rattles in and out. So it's Shore splits the pair. He's got 14 tonight. Samford trails by 20, 61-41. 3.5 minutes into the second half. Dickinson hands to Furphy, who turns the corner. Nice cut. KJ Adams, another two-handed jam. 16 for KJ Adams, and all his buckets have come in the restricted area. Achor driving against Dickinson. Staten McRae on the cut. Kicks. Dallas Graziani a three that's short, but rolls in. Dallas Graziani, his first three-point make of the night. And a friendly bounce for the point guard as Harris races the other way. Adams in traffic, kicks it right back out. Harris's three rattles in and out. Samford gets a stop. Graziani racing by himself in transition, holds it back up. And Achor needs a breather. He was the last man down for Samford. Media timeout coming at the next stoppage. A.J. Staten McRae trying to turn the corner against Dickinson and scoops it in.
Released it really quickly before Dickinson could elevate to block it.
5 straight scored by Samford and an offensive foul before KU gets it in. Dallas Graziani again causing problems for the KU guards. And it's the second on the freshman Elmarco Jackson. It'll be Samford basketball on the other side of a media timeout. 15:21 to go here in Salt Lake City. KU is led by as many as 22. Samford trying to claw their way back. It's the Jayhawks 63, the Bulldogs 46, as you listen to our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Samford President Beck Taylor. Life-changing scholarships, world-class faculty, career-focused curriculum, the integration of Christian faith and learning. These are just some of the ways we prepare students for lifelong success here at Samford University, and we can't do that without you. Our donors are the reasons we can provide extraordinary support and opportunity for our students. We take the incredible gifts we receive and use them to impact the lives of countless individuals. As you consider making a major gift to Samford, please know your donation will be stewarded faithfully and thoughtfully to foster a Samford experience, one in which students' passions can truly meet their purpose. By investing in Samford University, you invest in the future, not only on this campus, but beyond. Thank you for supporting Samford. Your gift will create a legacy and stand as a testament to the transformative work that takes place each and every day at this university. For God, for learning, forever.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie. Cooks Pest Control.
Back here courtside in the Delta Center, Salt Lake City, Utah. Blake Gardner, Dave Friedman here with you. Glad you joined us for our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network on the Varsity Network app, presented by Cooks Pest Control. Fans, Cooks is a proud sponsor of Samford Athletics, and Cooks' 110% satisfaction guarantee means you'll always be completely satisfied with your service. Call or go online for a free quote today at cookspest.com or by calling the number 205-942-7775 today. Kansas, the number 4 seed here in the Midwest region, leading the number 13 seed Samford Bulldogs 63-46 with 15:21 to go in this game. And after an early spurt there where Kansas outscored Samford 13-2 in this half, Samford has fought their way back. They've scored 6 of the last 8 and have the basketball here out of the timeout.
I mean, you got to keep playing, right? It was on this court, 5 hours ago that we saw Dayton trail by 17 with 6.5 minutes to go and win in regulation. And the way Samford plays, you can quickly turn around to score.
Out of the timeout, Dallas Graziani gets it into A.J. Staten McRae, who forced it up, didn't get the whistle he was looking for. KJ Adams stayed straight up. Here comes KU. Furphy slows it up back out front to his redshirt senior point guard. DeJuan Harris Jr. has played a lot of basketball here at Kansas. He sets up the Jayhawks here in the half court. KJ Adams High-low to Hunter Dickinson, who was just wrapped up by Nathan Johnson, who knew he had no chance.
I mean, that's it, though. You can't let him set up that deep in the paint, because if he gets the ball down there, he's going to score. Dickinson wants them to look at the monitor for a potential flagrant foul, and they are going to do so. I believe the question is, was a play made on the ball?
So we'll have another video review here and a stoppage with 14:58 to go in the game. Foul on Nathan Johnson, just his first, as he and Riley Allensbach, the bigs in the game right now for Samford. As it stands right now, it's a common foul on the floor. Hunter Dickinson at the free throw line shooting a couple.
Dickinson has gone for 13 points and 13 rebounds. And when he catches it deep, there's no answer. You have to pressure the passer, and you have to try to push him out. Easier said than done.
The guy's 7'2", 260 pounds. It's tough to push him out, right?
It's tough to deal with him. There's a reason he's in demand out of high school after being Mr. Maryland Hoops at DeMatha, going on to Michigan, an All-American second teamer, and then finishing his career at as blue blood as there is.
He locked up his 17th double-double of the year before the first half came to a close. The referee's taking a long look at this, which is not a good sign for Samford. It was going to be tough for Nathan Johnson to try to make a play on the ball, even if he tried to play it from all the way around Hunter Dickinson. He's ceding quite a bit of size in and around the restricted area. Referees have at least come to a decision, and we'll see what that decision is. And after review, that is going to be called a flagrant 1 foul on Nathan Johnson. So no play on the ball made by Nathan Johnson, says this refereeing crew, and it's going to be 2 shots in possession here for Kansas. Dickinson at the line, his first free throw, strong, off the mark. Dickinson's second, however, is off the mark as well. Maybe a bit of a ball don't lie situation, perhaps. Big man just 1 for 4 from the charity stripe tonight.
I love that expression. I think it has nothing to do with reality.
KU maintains the basketball, though, after the flagrant 1 foul call. 5 minutes into this second half. Jayhawks working in the half court. KJ Adams, another high post touch, working against Johnson. Adams kicks across the floor. Harris, right wing 3, no good. Furphy crashed and was fouled, trying to put it back up. And that is a tough assignment there for Garrett Hicks. Technically the third guard for KU right now is a 6'9" Johnny Furphy, and it's on the 6-foot Garrett Hicks to try to put a body on him.
Furphy played at the Center of Excellence in Australia, which is the highest level of basketball that they have at the Center of Sport there. That's where you've seen all those St. Mary's players come from over the years, guys that have played in the NBA. That's very, very high-level prep basketball.
Johnny Furphy has had a big night for KU. He had been struggling in a bit of a shooting snide since March had started.
Furphy comes from an unbelievably athletic family. Dad and brother, professional Aussie rules football players. His sister, a soccer player. His mom was a diver.
Taking pop on this end. Achor passed up the 3, but gets by Dickinson to lay it in. 16 for Achor, and he's limping a little bit on his left ankle, working his way up the floor. He's grabbing at it a little bit right now.
Wonder if that's a cramp.
And the referees finally do see it and are stopping play.
Yes, they do. Boy, Will Howard blows the whistle. You do not usually see them stop play when your team is playing defense. Usually they're going to have to get a bucket or miss or what have you, and then the whistle will come. And Bill Self looked over at Will Howard as if to say, that is not the way we normally do it. But Achor clearly in pain, and we are at altitude, and you wonder if it's a cramp.
So Achor receiving a bit of medical treatment right now. or attention I should say, as Riley Allensbach had just checked out of the game. He's quickly raced back into it. Based on Ochoa's reaction, it does kind of feel like a cramp. He's got a bit of a smile on his face. But that is a big loss for Samford. Their two best big men right now on the bench, along with their starting point guard. Kansas in front by 17, 14-16 to go in this NCAA tournament first round game. Samford back in his own. Dickinson kicks across the floor. Furphy again. Not this time, but Dickinson's on the offensive glass and puts it back in.
Allensbach tried to box him out. He's just enormous.
15 and 14 for Hunter Dickinson so far tonight. Allensbach straight away for three. Yes, sir. Second made, 3 of the night for Riley Allensbach.
That's the other side of the matchup. Dickinson doesn't want to guard out there.
Kansas almost turned it over in the backcourt, but they do break the Samford pressure. Jayhawks lead by 16, 67-51. Harris to Adams from the free throw line. No, too strong. And the rebound belongs to Nathan Johnson and Samford. Bulldogs 4 of their last 5 from the floor. Can they keep it going? Staten McCray bumped on his drive. And the foul out front is going to go against Johnny Furphy. That is his second, the 6th committed by KU in this second half. So Samford shooting free throws for every KU foul, the remaining 13-27. Dallas Graziani checks out. Samford gets Rylan Jones back in the game. Allensbach, another try from 3. Why not? Allensbach again! Riley Allensbach, the true freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, had just 6 3-point makes all season coming into the night, but he's got 3 on the biggest of stages here in this one. 13-point game, 13 minutes to play. Dickinson out front, kicks to the corner. On the drive, Timberlake lays it in. A dozen tonight for Nicholas Timberlake, the Towson transfer. Samford's offense finding its footing. Can they continue? Staten McCray, too strong from the corner. Allensbach the offensive rebound. Jones gets it right back to him. 14 to shoot for Samford. Hicks turns the corner, gets to the rim, has it sent backwards. Furphy at 6'9", erased Garrett Hicks at close range. KU gets a stop.
5 blocks for Kansas, none for Samford.
12:20 to play. Timberlake lobs it in the post. KJ Adams, Dickinson connects from 14 feet.
17 points and 14 rebounds for Hunter Dickinson. 8 of 11 shooting.
71-54, KU in front as we approach the 12-minute mark. Johnson, Hicks to the corner. Rylan Jones thought about the 3, thought better of it, drives, lays it off for Allensbach, who puts it in and 1.
You never know what the future is going to bring. This has been a magical year for Samford, but boy, they've got some good-looking young players.
A true freshman, Riley Allensbach, had averaged just 12 minutes played per game this year. He's got 11 points on 3 made threes tonight against Kansas. And with 11:56 to go in the game, it's the Jayhawks 71, the Bulldogs 56. Timeout on the floor as you listen to our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Where you get your PharmD matters. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy is mission-driven. Supportive faculty and staff commit themselves to students' success. McWhorter School of Pharmacy is interprofessional, an environment that fosters collaboration with nursing, health professions, and public health students. Students can personalize their degrees with numerous study abroad opportunities, didactic and experiential electives, and joint degree options. Customize your studies in our state-of-the-art facilities to achieve specific career goals such as missions, research, community pharmacy, hospital and residency, and more. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy, preparing pharmacists who transform lives for more than 100 years.
At Samford, strength and purpose come together. They push your gifts to their fullest potential, turning your passions into powerful skills for shaping our world. Samford's dedicated professors build your skills so you thrive in complex environments. Visit campus in Birmingham to see firsthand how Samford supports your growth toward everything you seek to achieve.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
Welcome back to the great state of Utah. Salt Lake City in the Delta Center hosting the first and second rounds of the 2024 NCAA tournament. You listen to our coverage here on the Samford Sports Network, presented by Cook's Pest Control, a proud sponsor of Samford Athletics. Blake Gardner, Dave Friedman here with you. It's Kansas by 15 right now with a little less than 12 minutes to play. Kansas has outscored Samford by 5 so far in this second half, and while the Bulldogs have had no answer for Hunter Dickinson, they have gotten some monster minutes from a true freshman tonight in Riley Allensbach.
Not only Allensbach, I thought Josh Holloway played really well in the first half, but Allensbach is that stretch 4, that stretch 5, really, like, the moment hasn't been too big for him, and here in the second half, he's been a real factor. He's the matchup problem for Dickinson. Dickinson doesn't want to go guard him on the perimeter.
So Allensbach at the free throw line here, trying to complete a three-point play and get Samford back to within 14 of Kansas. And the good news for Samford is Achor seems to have worked out that cramp. He's back in the game as well. Allensbach's free throw too strong. The rebound tapped into the Samford bench. Last touch by Kansas. So it'll stay down here with the Bulldogs and a chance to score a few more before this trip ends.
Samford has made 9 threes. What do you think? They're going to have to hit about 15 to win this game?
That sounds about right. 3 have come from an unlikely source, and Riley Allensbach, who stays in the game here. 15 to shoot for Samford after they get it in. Jaden Campbell forced out to near the logo. Allensbach trying to get it inside to Achor, did so. Achor spins inside and was blocked out of bounds.
That time Allensbach pass was tardy. You had Achor sealing in the restricted area, and then the pass came late. The defense able to adjust.
Samford's got 3.7 seconds to get it on the rim when they inbound here from the corner. Jones got it into Campbell, a step back 3 on the way. Off the glass, no, long rebound belongs to Jones and Samford. He tries a 3, he's got it! The Utah kid knocks down the long range bomb. And Jones taps this one out of bounds. Kansas having trouble getting it in against the press once more.
The 3 for Jones, his first basket tonight.
It has been a long time coming for Rylan Jones, who averages over 9 points a game. Maybe that gets him going here down the stretch. KU leads by a dozen, 11:23 left, trying to get it in, finally do so to Harris. And the Jayhawks able to break the pressure. KJ Adams into the front court, working with Hunter Dickinson, DeJuan Harris, and then Timberlake and Jackson, the other 2 Kansas guards. Harris working off the screen, kicks to the corner. Jackson, a big pro hop into the paint. Adams has the mismatch inside against Rylan Jones, tries to take advantage but couldn't finish. Rebound belongs to Samford. Bulldogs looking in transition. Staten McRae drives, his pass deflected by Dickinson and turned over. Timberlake in transition, scoops and scores.
The most fundamental of things, kind of a lazy one-handed pass. The reason you pass with 2 hands is if you realize at the last minute someone's not open, you can secure the basketball.
Jones to Allensbach, another 3-point try. It's good! Riley Allensbach have a night! This is unbelievable. An 11-point game. Rylan Jones went to the floor, thought there was a push-off, no whistle as Harris leads the break and lays it in. Samford's gotten an offensive foul call a couple of times tonight. They did not get it there. And it's back to a 13-point lead for KU. 75-62 our score. 10 minutes to play here in Utah. Achor working against Elmarco Jackson. He was fouled. A reach from behind by Jackson, and again, Kansas already over the foul limit. So 1-and-1 coming here for Achor.
Samford has not been great at the line, but particularly in the second half, they're 1 of 4 at the stripe.
These are some big free throws coming. As Achor makes his way to the free throw line momentarily. Samford, an excellent free throw shooting team this year. Second best in the Southern Conference at 73% as a team, but as Dave said, just 7 of 12 at the stripe tonight, and Achor taking his time before he takes these free throws.
Wonder when Bucky comes back with Jermaine Marshall.
I think sooner rather than later, right, with your season on the line. Even with those 4 fouls, Achor's free throw is in and out. Another big miss at the free throw line from the Bulldogs tonight. And it's a 13-point Kansas lead, under 10 to play. 75-62 our score. Jayhawks with the basketball. Forfey, an acrobatic catch, gets it back out front to Harris. Tawan Harris off the big screen from Dickinson, fires. In and out from downtown. The rebound belongs to Allens back in Samford.
Just packing in the defense that time. No one at the three-point line. Everyone practically under the free throw line.
Jones, a deep three. That's good! 2 second-half threes for the Utah native Ryland Jones. And it's back to a 10-point game. Timeout, Kansas. And here comes the Delta Center crowd trying to will Samford back into this matchup against the Blue Blood.
Bucky McMillan has made a change defensively. If Kansas beats him from the three-point arc, so be it. All of the defenders are inside the three-point arc, and if someone's got it up top, maybe there's one person out to challenge. Everyone else is underneath the free throw line.
9:15 to go here in Salt Lake City. Our score, Kansas 75, Samford 65. You're listening to our coverage of the 2024 NCAA Tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Here at Cumberland, we're not just providing a law degree or a means to a professional career. We believe fundamentally that if you find something that you're passionate about that gives you purpose, you're going to do a better job. And so here we're really working on building out all of our programming with an eye toward helping students come in, find their purpose, and pursue that purpose throughout their professional lives.
Hey Samford, President Beck Taylor here. I wanted to remind you that Samford Giving Day is back. It's April 9th, and what's exciting about this day is that it rallies the entire Samford family, from students to worldwide friends of the university. It's your chance to support some of your favorite areas of campus. And remember, your gift, big or small, impacts this place greatly. Again, Samford Giving Day, April 9th, a 24-hour window for you to show your Samford support. Go Bulldogs.
Advance your career with an MBA from Samford University's Brock School of Business. Nationally ranked by Fortune, our Master of Business Administration program develops ethical business leaders for a modern and competitive workforce. It's flexible for the working professional and customizable. Choose from concentrations in data analytics, finance, and sports business. Learn more or apply at samford.edu/go/MBA.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cooks Pest Control.
Back here in Utah, Blake Gardner, Dave Friedman here with you. Our coverage of the 2024 NCAA Tournament featuring the number 13 seed Samford Bulldogs taking on the number 4 seed Kansas Jayhawks, presented by Cooks Pest Control. Samford men's basketball playing in the NCAA Tournament for just the 3rd time for a program that has been playing Division I basketball since the early 70s. Samford women's basketball has been to the NCAA Tournament twice as well, back in 2011 and 2012. Did not come away with the win. Samford men's basketball in 1999 and 2000 came up empty as well. The Bulldogs looking for the program's first NCAA Tournament victory. After trailing by 10 at the break, they have played Kansas even so far in this second half with 9:15 to play.
They trailed this game 63-41. Now it is a 10-point game. You have to feel pretty good about where you're at, considering what this looked like, and they go 1-3-1 zone.
And turned over, A.J. Staten McCray the steal, and he's got the lay-in. It's a single-digit game. 75-67, Kansas, less than 9 minutes to go. Harris, right wing, open for three. Not this time. Dickinson's tip, no good as well. Fight for the rebound, chase to the corner. Last touched by who? Last touched by Samford. Say the officials. And based on the look we got, that looks like it might have been the wrong call.
H.A. Staten McRae wanted them to go to the monitor, and the referee said, no, we got it right. Whether or not they did, that's another story.
So Kansas will get another opportunity here with 8:45 to go and 20 on the timer. DeJuan Harris, the veteran point guard out front, already with 6 assists tonight. A deflection and an interception. Jones got a hand on it for three in transition, off the mark. And a fight for the rebound controlled by Harris and the Jayhawks. The crowd was ready to explode.
Ryland Jones is playing with a piece of gauze in his right nostril.
Been a physical night for the Utah native, who almost brought the house down with that make. And Jones is going to be called for the reach that time, trying to poke that one away from behind. A foul on Ryland Jones, just his first, and it's the 6th team foul committed by Samford.
I wonder if they're thinking about coming back with Marshall at the under 8 media timeout.
8:17 to play. Kansas 75, Samford 67.
Man to man.
Bulldogs continuing to switch their defenses. Harris turns the corner, got to the baseline, kicks. Furphy for three, short, but KJ Adams unaccosted, a two-handed follow. Jayhawks back in front by 10, 77-67, under 8 to play. Achor on the drive, into traffic, got some contacts.
Dickinson reaching over.
A foul on Hunter Dickinson, his second. Achor at the free throw line when we come back. 7:51 to go here in Utah. Samford has trailed by as many as 22, but that deficit just 10 right now. Can the Bulldogs continue to claw their way back in it? We'll find out on the other side of this break. It's the Jayhawks 77, the Bulldogs 67. You're listening to our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Historic renovation is underway on Samford's state-of-the-art campus recreation, wellness, and athletic complex, and we can't wait till you see the finished product. Cybert Hall is being transformed into a working the health and mental well-being of Samford students. The new complex will also provide new practice and training facilities for our Bulldog student athletes.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cooks Pest Control.
7:51 to go here in Salt Lake City, Utah at the Delta Center. Home to the Utah Jazz in the NBA, but for this weekend, home to the first and second round of the NCAA tournament. The number 4 seed Jayhawks lead the number 13 seed Bulldogs 77-67. Our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament brought to you by Cooks Pest Control. Cooks is dedicated to servicing their customers in the community and has been in the Southeast and someone homeowners have trusted going all the way back to 1928. Go online for a free quote at cookspest.com or call 205-942-7775. Short at the free throw line for Samford when we come back, as this Bulldogs program tries to put Samford University on the map. That's what Samford President Beck Taylor said to NBC's Ryan Hennessy earlier this afternoon. And this crowd trying to will Samford back into it to make this a fun remaining 7:51.
Free throw line's been a little bit of a bugaboo. Got to put 2 up and in here.
Short at the stripe, shooting a pair after the foul from Dickinson. His first is pure.
I think the zone has been really good, Blake. I've liked what they've done when they've been able to get into that 1-3-1, the 2-3, little pressure. They've been better in the second half than they were the first.
Achor knocks down the second as well. It's back to a single-digit deficit, a 3-possession game. Kansas 77, Samford 69, under 8 minutes to go. Kansas, another long pass, breaks the full court pressure. Samford staying with their 2-center look right now with Allensbach and Achor both on the floor. Man-to-man look right now. Dickinson, a deep post catch, flips it up and in.
Much too deep.
19 points, 15 rebounds for Hunter Dickinson so far tonight. 7.5 minutes to go. KU back in front by 10. Ryland Jones directing traffic for Samford out front. Pick and pop with a Chore. He'll try a three. He's got it. Nothing but nylon for a Chore. His second three-point make tonight.
Yeah, and all the Gonzaga fans getting behind Samford.
79-72. KU in front, 7 minutes to go. The closest Samford has been all second half. Timberlake kicks to one. Harris one more. Kansas had a good look, passed it up. Now continue to work their half-court set. Furphy with a shot clock at 9. Harris with 6. Cut off with 5. Harris tried to scoop it up, no good. Samford gets a stop, but A.J. Staten-McRae's outlet pass intercepted. Here comes K.J. Adams. He attacks, and a foul on the reach before Achor tried to take the charge is going to send K.J. Adams to the charity stripe.
Boy, Staten-McRae did a tremendous job defensively, boxing out, and then threw that thing away.
Foul on Staten-McRae, just his first, but free throws coming for K.J. Adams. The junior from Austin, Texas. Led the Big 12 in field goal percentage this year, and after you've watched today, you can see why. Almost all of his offense coming from within 5 feet of the buckets. 0 for 2 at the free throw line so far tonight. Adams is first on the way and in and out.
Comes from a crazy athletic family. His dad played football at New Mexico. His mom basketball at Texas A&M, and he's got that athletic look.
But he has struggled at the charity stripe tonight. In fact, Kansas just 3 of 7 at the line here in this second half. Crowd hoping for a second KU miss. Adams is second, in and out, no good. An empty trip for the Jayhawks. Samford can make it a 2-possession game on this trip. 6.5 minutes to go, a 7-point contest. Ryland Jones working with a Chore out front. Jaden Campbell, right side three. Yes, sir! Here comes the crowd, and here comes Samford. It's a 4-point game. Timeout, Kansas. Listen to the Delta Center get behind the Bulldogs. From 22 points down, Samford has made it a 4-point game with 6:18 left.
When you haven't gone to the tournament in a long time, sometimes it takes a little while to feel comfortable. It takes time to get the tempo and get the crowd. Samford has gathered themselves. This was a 63-41 game with 10:26 to go. But from that point since, Samford has just been the flat-out better team. They've been the aggressor. They haven't given up too many easy buckets, and the offense has started to flow.
Listen to this. There's plenty of Jayhawk blue in the crowd tonight, but anyone that's not wearing Kansas colors is on their feet chanting, "Let's go Samford." This is an upset-thirsty group here in Salt Lake City. After Bill Self's timeout, KU has just one stoppage left for the remaining 6:18.
And the entire country is watching. This is the last game going on.
And KU almost turned it over trying to get it inbounds. Credit to Jackson who got it back. And the Jayhawks set it up here in the half court. 6:10 and counting left in a 2-possession game. Harris working it around the perimeter. Timberlake got off the screen. His corner three off the mark. Achor the rebound for the Bulldogs. Here comes Ryland Jones and Samford. Jones into the paint. He's fouled.
Kansas got an open three. That's not a problem. They're not a great three-point shooting team. You don't want them to go into the paint. Without Dickinson out there, it's a little bit of a different game for them, but a three-pointer, sure, if it goes in, it hurts you, but over the course of a long season, that's just not what they do best.
Ryland Jones at the line shooting 2. What a week it's been for the Utah native. His first is good. He's been a celebrity here all week long in Utah. the kid who grew up here, didn't even know where Samford was before Bucky McMillan convinced him to take a red-eye flight in late May and ended up earning his signature. Jones' second, a little strong. Rebound, Hunter Dickinson in Kansas. A three-point game. KU 79, Samford 76, 5:45 left in this first round contest. Man-to-man this time for Samford. Adams kicks, Timberlake, corner three again. This one in and out. Again, Achor the rebound for Samford. Bulldogs can tie it up with a long-range make on this trip. Jones almost lost it, fortunate to get it back in front of Bucky McMillan. Achor out front, hands to Jones. Jones turns the corner. Couple of ball fakes, forced it up, and got it to roll in. Are you kidding, Ryland Jones? Scoreless the entire first half. Ryland Jones has come to play in the second. We have a one-point game. 5 minutes left. The blue blood is feeling the pressure now. DeJuan Harris off the screen. His floater rattles in. 11 points for DeJuan Harris tonight. KU back in front by 3, 81-78.
Snaps a 9-0 run, but boy, is there any guy you would rather have than Ryland Jones, the son of a coach, running the offense in this moment?
Horn set for Samford with both the bigs out front. Achor lobs it up for Allensbach inside. Allensbach is fouled. The foul on DeJuan Harris, his third. And monster moments continue in this second half for the true freshman.
In the second half, Samford is 8 of 14 from outside the arc.
It's the recipe for an upset. Riley Allensbach at the free throw line, his first, rattles in. What a monster game it has been for Riley Allensbach tonight. The true freshman playing in the biggest game of his life in front of a national TV audience. Couldn't knock down the second, but it was tapped out of bounds. Last touch by Hunter Dickinson in Kansas. So Allensbach goes 1 of 2. It's a 2-point Kansas lead, 81-79. 4:28 to go in Samford ball. On the right side of your screen, the Samford Bulldogs working in front of their crowd and the Samford bench. Ryland Jones gets it into Riley Allensbach. Allensbach trying to get it back to his point guard. It was deflected, but DeJuan Harris couldn't save it right in front of Samford assistant coach Mitch Cole.
When you say in front of their crowd, you mean the people actually wearing Samford gear, but there are about 14,000 Gonzaga fans that have really quickly become big Samford fans.
Jones gets it inbounds without much fanfare this time. Shot clock at 10 for Samford. Achor on the short roll. Allensbach cuts. He's blocked from behind by Dickinson. 7 block shots tonight for KU. It'll stay down here with the Bulldogs with 7 to shoot. Ryland Jones again to try to get it inbounds. Lobs it up for A.J. Staten-McCray. Staten-McCray in the post. Kicks it back out. Jones, extra pass. Achor's got to put it up at the buzzer. A little strong. Dickinson again pulls down his 17th KU rebound tonight. 2-point game, under 4 minutes to play in this 4 versus 13 matchup. Backdoor cut, Furphy fouled. And count the buckets. Achor is going to be called for a goaltend. A chance at 3 for Furphy on the other side of a media timeout. Jaden Campbell tagged with his third. And the freshman from Australia, Johnny Furphy, at the free throw line for KU. And we come back. Kansas 9, 3:53 to go here in Utah. The final moments of this first round contest when we return as you listen to our coverage of the 2024 NCAA tournament here on the Samford Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Samford President Beck Taylor. Life-changing scholarships, world-class faculty, career-focused curriculum, the integration of Christian faith and learning. These are just some of the ways we prepare students for lifelong success here at Samford University, and we can't do that without you. Our donors are the reasons we can provide extraordinary support and opportunity for our students. We take the incredible gifts we receive and use them to impact the lives of countless individuals. As you consider making a major gift to Samford, please know your donation will be stewarded faithfully and thoughtfully to foster a Samford experience, one in which students' passions can truly meet their purpose. By investing in Samford University, you invest in the future, not only on this campus, but beyond. Thank you for supporting Samford. Your gift will create a legacy and stand as a testament to the transformative work that takes place each and every day at this university. For God, for learning, forever.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
Welcome back to the Delta Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. There have been two massive comebacks in this building today. The first was earlier in game number 2 of the session. Dayton looked dead in the water against Nevada with less than 7 minutes to go. They came all the way back to take out the Wolfpack 63-60. In this game here tonight, Kansas led 63-41 with 16 minutes to go, and yet we have a 2-possession game as we wind down the stretch.
You're right there. You're right there. You just have to continue what you've been doing for the last 10 minutes. Get good shots and make Kansas work for their points. When Kansas spurted out to the big lead, it was just much too easy. Now that they've started to chunk up the middle of the lane, Kansas has not gotten those shots at the percentage they were shooting the first half.
And although it hasn't been pretty in the way they've gotten there, I would imagine
you try to complete his three-point play and extend this back a 5-point Kansas lead after the third personal foul committed by Jaden Campbell. 18 fouls committed by Samford. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs are in the double bonus already after 10 fouls committed by KU. Furphy's free throw is up and short. Achor the rebound for the Bulldogs. 21 points, 8 rebounds for Achor tonight. Samford's going to need more from him down the stretch. Rylan Jones out front, got to the baseline, pump, scoops up and under, but couldn't finish. Not as good a look as Samford could have asked for, but Jones with the shot blocker lurking couldn't swing it home. Still a 4-point Kansas edge, 3:28 to go. Jones picks the pass off, but he stepped out of bounds. Oh, he was so close to being off to the races, just could not keep his heels off the sideline.
Samford has forced 16 turnovers, but only 4 in the second half. The difference has been they've just been tighter defensively against the Kansas offense.
So it'll stay down here with KU with 16 to shoot. Where do the Jayhawks go when they need a bucket? Feels like it's got to be inside. Harris on the drive, shoved off Jones. That's an offensive foul. And it's the 4th on DeJuan Harris.
And Samford basically had 2 players on Dickinson. Allensbach fronting him, and from behind, Achor. They're not playing a box and one, but it kind of feels like that.
A big stop for Samford defensively and a chance to make it a 1-possession game again here on this trip. Rylan Jones, the Utah native, back in his home state playing on the sport's biggest stage, running the show right now for the Samford offense. Jones almost lost it. Campbell lucky to retrieve it. Kicks across the floor. Achor wants to go at Dickinson. Spins, scoops, couldn't finish. Dickinson altered it enough. And here comes KU. They've got 3-on-2. Harris kicks to the corner. Timberlake for 3. Yes. And the bigger concern for Samford is Achor. Achor is down at the free throw line on the other end. And after it was the left calf earlier for Achor, right now it's the right calf giving him problems. So a stoppage here with 2:50 to go, and just like that, Kansas has it back out to a 7-point lead.
They had it down at 81-79 after Allensbach hit 1 out of 2 at the line. But the Furphy bucket and the Timberlake 3, you have to respond.
Shore slowly being helped to his feet. He does not feel good. A look of anguish on his face as he gingerly makes his way to the Samford bench. What a year it has been for Shore. The Australian standouts goes to the very end of the bench, trying to stretch out that right calf. But Samford's best offensive weapon down right now.
Jermaine Marshall back out there.
Haven't seen Marshall since he picked up his 4th foul a long while ago. Can he help Samford get the offense back on track? Bulldogs without a field goal over the last 2.5 minutes. They're going to need to score in bunches here, trailing by 3 possessions with 2:45 to play. Allensbeck gets it right back to Rylan Jones. In the corner, Jaden Campbell's 3 short. Jones tried to tap it out, and a huge collision sends Jones to the floor as he got the worst end of hard contact with Timberlake. The foul on Jones is his 2nd.
Rylan Jones' dad coached under Rick Macheras, maybe the greatest of coaches in this state of Utah. For Stu Morrill at Utah State, he is about as big a gamer as you're going to find Rylan Jones.
Jones playing with a cotton swab up the right side of his nose after he took a shot earlier in this game. Was scoreless in the first half, has come to life here in the second. And he'll stay in the game after walking his way over to the other side of the floor. 19th foul committed by Samford, which means it's 1-1 for Nicholas Timberlake and KU. Timberlake a chance to make it a 9-point Kansas lead with a couple of makes. His first free throw, back iron no, tapped out and controlled by Samford. Bulldogs need a bucket in the biggest of ways here on this trip with 2.5 minutes to play. Jones off the screen, working with Riley Allens back out front. Jones, an NBA range 3. Too strong, Jaden Campbell, the offensive rebound, trying to shuttle it back out. Instead, he was fouled. A reach is the call. And with Kansas deep into the penalty, it's 2 free throws coming for Jaden Campbell. The 4th foul committed by Nicholas Timberlake tonight.
Samford still has 3 timeouts left, so you can do some things to set your defense or to play the late game situations.
Campbell's first is good. 11 points tonight for the Canadian Jaden Campbell. Said he grew up idolizing Campbell. Said he grew up idolizing Harris's first rattles home. Last year's Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, DeJuan Harris, the veteran lead ball handler for this Kansas team. 12 points, 7 assists tonight. His 2nd free throw good as well. KU 88, Samford 81. 2:14 to go here in Utah. Shield Dickinson and was fouled.
They ran a 5-out set, so there was no one inside opening up the driving lanes, and Dickinson came over the top.
Foul on Hunter Dickinson is his 3rd. Right back to the free throw line goes Jaden Campbell. The offense just drying up here late for Samford. 0 for their last 6 from the floor, but a chance to get 2 back here at the stripe. Campbell, an 84% free throw shooter this year, 3 out of 4 at the stripe here tonight. And his first is off the mark. Missed free throws costly tonight for Samford. Just 13 out of 22. Campbell second, off the mark as well. An empty trip, and Kansas will bleed some clock here with 1:54 to go. Murphy picked up his dribble, but found Harris.
Probably the last possession you can go without fouling.
Harris holding and waiting with the shot clock at 10. Now KU gets into some offense. Harris hesitates, drives, kicks. Adams, a high post catch. Dickinson from 18 feet. No good. Jermaine Marshall's got the rebound for Samford. Bulldogs need to hurry, trailing by 7. Marshall in transition for 3. Too strong. Staten McRae's got the rebound. Campbell, reload 3. Yes, sir! Timeout Samford with 1:18 to play. KU 88, Samford 84.
Got a stop, got an offensive rebound, got a huge 3, the 15th of the night for Samford. And now Bucky McMillan has to think about this. You're down 2 possessions with 1:18 to go. Of course, you're going to pressure full court. If you allow Kansas to take 30 seconds off the clock, you're looking at 50-ish seconds to go, down 4. Or after a couple of traps, do you foul? Worst case scenario, you've got the ball back with somewhere around a minute to go, still only down 2 possessions, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6.
88-84, Kansas in front. The Samford full court pressure has forced 17 Kansas turnovers tonight. And no doubt the Bulldogs would love to force an 18. Samford has outscored KU 46-40 here in this second half. From 22 down, they've gotten as close as 1 possession. The deficit right now, 2 possessions. With 78 ticks to go, and again, Bucky McMillan still has 2 timeouts left at his disposal. Bill Self and KU have 1. Both teams well over the foul limit, 10 plus fouls apiece. Jaden Campbell and Jermaine Marshall both with 4 personal fouls for Samford. Campbell's going to be on the bench. Don't want him to foul out of the game here, one of your best shooters. Jermaine Marshall, though, is going to stay in the game, one of your best on-ball defenders. It's Marshall, Hicks, Staten McRae, Jones, and Achor for the Bulldogs. Can Kansas break the full court pressure with the game on the line here? Johnny Furphy getting a long talking to from our referee Lamar Simpson before he hands him the basketball. Here we go. Samford picking up full court. Furphy gets it into Dickinson. Dickinson right back to the Australian freshman, who gets it right back to Dickinson. 3 seconds to Kansas to get it across, and they do. Adams holds, and now Samford is going to let things play out. 1 minute to go here in Utah. 12 to shoot for Kansas. On top by 4. Furphy lobs it inside. Adams was the last to touch it. It's Samford ball. Marshall got a piece of it, but Adams touched it last. An 18th KU turnover.
They're going to go to the monitor and check.
So a free timeout here for both teams, who will go back to their respective benches with 55.2 seconds to play. We'll see if we get a look, but based on what we saw live, it looked like Marshall got a piece, and then maybe off the fingertips of KJ Adams.
The call on the court was off Kansas and Samford ball.
What a huge stop this would be for Samford. Potentially gives them a chance to get a quick bucket and still not have to foul. No doubt Bucky McMillan trying to draw up something quick for Samford offensively.
Who do you go to? Achor?
I'd be tempted to get Campbell an open look at a 3 if you can get it. Campbell.
Remember when they were down 22 and we said they're probably going to have to make 15 threes?
They've made 15 threes. Jaden Campbell's made 4 of them.
If we're being honest, it might take 16 or 17.
It might. Samford 15 of 35 from beyond the arc tonight. That's 9 of 18 in this second half alone. And after review, the call on the floor stands. It is Samford basketball. So the Bulldogs a chance to make it a one-possession game with 55.9 seconds. 0.2 added back after that video review. Jaden Campbell back in the game for Samford. It's Marshall, Jones, Campbell, Achor, and Staten McCray for the Bulldogs, who, if they score within the first 20 seconds of this possession, don't have to foul. They can try to get another stop.
Kansas going to show some full court pressure. And the Kansas fans do not like at all that the inbounder is going to tie his shoes and give Samford a little bit of an opportunity. Veteran play by Jermaine Marshall.
Marshall says, now I'm ready to inbound, now that all my guys are ready. Bulldogs get it into Jaden Campbell, quickly shuffles to Ryland Jones. Jones across the midway stripe, 50 seconds to play. Crowd coming to their feet here in Utah. Jones off the screen from Achor, trying to get free. Jones kicks. Campbell drives. Achor pumps. He takes it inside and throws it down with authority. Achor, a rim-rattling slam. And we've got a 2-point game with 38 seconds left. Timeout, Bulldogs.
He faked Hunter Dickinson out of his shorts. That was unbelievable. An up fake on a three. Dickinson went flying, and Achor went right down the middle of the lane to make it a 2-point game. And again, Bucky McMillan has to make a decision as the officials go to the monitor to check the clock. Are you going to let him play it out here, or are you going to foul? There's plenty of time to let him play it out if you want.
Crowd on their feet here in Salt Lake City chanting, "Let's go Samford." KU 88, Samford 86, 38.1 seconds left officially after the short review. What a gamer, Achor. He's been dealing with cramps in both calves in this second half. But he's got 23 points and 8 rebounds, and he has brought the thunder tonight. So with game clock and shot clock separated by 8.1 seconds. Again, Samford doesn't have to foul if they don't want. They can play it out, try to get a stop, and if they got the defensive rebound, could run it back down the floor for a chance to send it to overtime or to try to win it in regulation. Jermaine Marshall firing up the crowd here in Utah. He guards the inbounder, Furphy. KU with one timeout left. Samford with one timeout left as Furphy gets it into Dickinson. Dickinson hounded by Staten McCray. Throws it over the top to a wide open KJ Adams for a two-handed dunk. 90-86, Kansas back in front. Ryland Jones attacks quickly on this end. Got caught in the air, threw it at Achor's feet. A fight for the loose ball, bodies everywhere. And a tie-up gives the possession arrow to Samford with 22.2 ticks left. Wow. KJ Adams got free on the other end after bodies collided in the front court. And then even more bodies hit the deck in a heartbeat on this end.
Blake, we have no idea what's to come here, but the largest second-half deficit ever overcome in the NCAA tournament is 25. That gives you an idea of the magnitude of what Samford has done, trailing by 22 with just over 10 minutes to go in the game.
And again, the officials are going to the monitor for another replay review. Don't know what the nature of this review
Bill
could be.
Self is saying, and they can't review this, that he had called for a timeout during that scrum. But that's irrelevant. You're either acknowledged or not, and they're looking at the clock again.
Again, the clock issues have kind of been a theme here throughout the day in Salt Lake.
But in this case, they just want to get it right. Like, every tenth of a second in a game like this matters, so they're going to check it to make sure they get it as close to correct as possible.
So technically, Samford's going to have 21 seconds to shoot, but obviously the Bulldogs aren't going to use all of that. 22.2 ticks to go. Samford basketball inbounding from underneath their own bucket, trailing 90-86. Rylan Jones trying to get it in for Samford. Finds an open Campbell for three. He's got it! 19.9 seconds left. 90-89, KU in front. What a huge hit by Campbell, his fifth three-point make tonight. Samford picking up full court. Furphy trying to get it in for the Jayhawks. Searching. Finally does find Harris, who throws it up the floor to Timberlake. Timberlake blocked from behind, but a late whistle and a foul against A.J. Staten McCray, who can't believe it. A.J. Staten McCray thought it was clean, and so did this Salt Lake City crowd. But Nathan Timberlake is going to the free throw line to shoot two with 14.7 seconds remaining. Wow. And we're not getting a replay here in the Delta Center, at least not right away.
Bucky McMillan screaming to his team, box out.
So Nicholas Timberlake, the transfer from Towson, in his first season as a Jayhawk at the line, shooting the biggest free throws of his Jayhawk career. His first is good. 18 tonight for Timberlake. Thrust into the starting lineup with no Kevin McCullough available for KU. And Bucky McMillan is going to call timeout. Final timeout Samford has left at its disposal with 14.7 seconds to play. What a game.
Bucky McMillan has a background in poker, and people that have extraordinary risk tolerance tend to play sports differently. Is there any doubt in your mind whether this free throw is made or missed, that it's a three-pointer coming for the Bulldogs?
Certainly what it feels like. And if Timberlake makes this free throw, Kansas has the decision to make. Samford has made 16 threes tonight. Surely you don't let them try to make a 17.
But how early would you foul? A lot of teams aren't going to foul until you get to about 8 seconds or so. In that amount of time, Samford can get a three up.
Again, 14.7 ticks remaining. A second free throw coming here for Nicholas Timberlake out of the timeout. KU's got one stoppage left. Bucky McMillan and Samford out of timeouts. Timberlake 5 out of 6 at the free throw line so far this evening. It's the basketball back from Will Howard, the referee. Timberlake second on the way, and it's good. Kansas will make a change and get Timberlake out of the game, or they'll get Hunter Dickinson out of the game. Shot blocker off the floor. Now Marco Jackson, another guard, checks in for KU.
Do you go right to the rim for a quick two with Dickinson out?
You've got time, 14.7 seconds left. Kansas 92, Samford 89. Rylan Jones gets the basketball and gets it across the midway stripe in a hurry. Jones, hounded, got caught in the air, finds Marshall. Marshall forces up a three. Off the mark, no. Long rebound to the corner, and Jackson saves it off of a chore. It's Kansas basketball with 2.4 seconds left. And the referees surely are going to go look at this and make sure Jackson did indeed save it off of Achore's leg in that deep corner.
What did you think of the shot by Marshall?
Not a bad one.
I mean, the clock is ticking down. You have an opportunity to tie the game. It's relatively clean. I mean, there's a hand in the face, but how picky can you be at this point?
Marshall, a 36% three-point shooter. It's been so tough for him to find a rhythm in this game where he's been mired in foul trouble. Just 13 minutes all night for the emotional leader of this Samford club over the past few seasons. As it stands right now, it's going to be Kansas basketball with time put back on the clock right now from 2.4 to 3.9 seconds remaining. We're not getting a look here in the Delta Center, but based on the live look we got, it looked like a very athletic play from the freshman from New Jersey, Elmarco Jackson.
Say this, though, they're taking a while to look at it. It was a very confident call by Lamar Simpson. He confidently said Kansas basketball, but it's not as though they went over there, quickly confirmed it, and moved along.
A long look here. The last game of the day here in Salt Lake City, Utah, has turned into an absolute banger.
Down 22 with 10:20 to go. What does that say about the resiliency and belief of this group?
The only game left on a busy Thursday and day one of the NCAA tournament, and after review, the call confirmed it is KU basketball. Inbounding from an awkward spot, the deep corner.
You needed JP Pegues here. The Furman star hit the three to beat Virginia last year. Not an all that different situation. Got a steal, a pitch ahead, and a three.
Samford has forced 18 turnovers tonight. Can they force a 19th here with the game on the line and 3.9 seconds remaining? Furphy trying to get it in over the top of a shore. Harris almost fell out of bounds, but got it back to Furphy, who's wrapped up with 0.9 seconds left. Dewan Harris had his tippy toes up to trying to stay off that baseline. And that plus the defensive effort from Elmarco Jackson might prove to be enough for KU. The freshman Johnny Furphy at the line, one free throw to send Kansas through to the round of 32. And his first is good. (93-89) Kansas with 0.9 seconds remaining. A big night for the true freshman Johnny Furphy. 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 16 points. His second off the mark. Marshall hoisted up at the horn off the backboard, and that will do it. The number 4 seeded Kansas Jayhawks survive a furious Samford rally here in Salt Lake City. Our final score, Kansas 93, Samford 89. The Jayhawks and their fight song that move on to the round of 32 to take on the Gonzaga Bulldogs coming up on Saturday evening here at the Delta Center. For the Samford Bulldogs, their 29-win season comes to a close, but Samford went down swinging.
You're down 16 in the first half. You're down 22 midway through the second half, and it just feels like, well, that's what happens to 13 and 14 seeds, and they just battled and clawed and pushed. It was a tremendous, tremendous effort, but it's always sad when it comes up short, and maybe particularly hard because you feel like you're 1-2 plays away from winning.
Samford was so close. They got back within one possession multiple times there late in the second half. Just couldn't get their noses in front, and in the end, this veteran KU team, led by one of the best big men in the country, Hunter Dickinson, the Jayhawks do just enough to get by the Samford Bulldogs here in the opening round of this 2024 NCAA tournament. 93-89, it certainly wasn't easy for the Jayhawks. It looked like for a bit they would cruise, but Samford came roaring back and gave them everything they could handle down the stretch. The Jayhawks do move on, but they had to earn every bit of it tonight here in Utah. We'll take a timeout. More from our post-game coverage here courtside in the Delta Center as you listen to our 2024 NCAA tournament coverage here on the Samford Sports Network.
Where you get your PharmD matters. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy is mission-driven. Supportive faculty and staff commit themselves to students' success. McWhorter School of Pharmacy is interprofessional, an environment that fosters collaboration with nursing,
health professions, and public health students. Students can personalize their degrees with numerous study abroad opportunities, didactic and experiential electives, and joint degree options. Customize your studies in our state-of-the-art facilities to achieve specific career goals such as missions, research, community pharmacy, hospital and residency, and more. Samford University's McWhorter School of Pharmacy, preparing pharmacists who transform lives for more than 100 years.
At Samford,